Yesterday in Game 1 of a doubleheader in Oxford, Mississippi, it was Dom Decker stealing the show with home runs in the 7th and the 8th inning. Ole Miss overcoming an 8-0 deficit to win Game 1 10-8. And in the nightcap, 9 innings, nowhere close to enough. Top of the 14th, Trey Phelps, a rocket to left field. Georgia would add a run. They would take the nightcap in a long but good day of baseball at Swayze Field. And so we are set today for Game 3 of this weekend's top 20 matchup between the Georgia Bulldogs, ranked 5th in the country, and number 17, Ole Miss. Thanks for being with us on this Sunday afternoon from Swayze Field in Oxford. Alongside Keith Kessinger, I'm Richard Cross. Thanks so much for joining us. What a day of baseball yesterday.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to put it. It was a lot of baseball. It was 23 innings, but we saw great defense. We saw clutch hitting. We saw big home runs. We saw some big pitches at times to extend the game. It was two really good college baseball teams getting after it, and we get to see one more of them a day.
Our rubber match now on Game 3 in this series, and Taylor Rabe is going to take the mound for Ole Miss. The sophomore right-hander out of Greenville, South Carolina, 6'5", 200 pounds, couple of weeks removed from his best outing as an Ole Miss pitcher, where he took a no-hitter deep into the game against LSU.
Yeah, power right-handed arm for Ole Miss. You're going to see that fastball mid to even upper 90s. The slider also a real power breaking ball. Last week, he had trouble locating the off-speed. Kind of became a one-dimensional pitcher against Tennessee. That caused him some issues. Tennessee knocked him out early.
This is a Georgia lineup that can absolutely swing it. Did not hit a home run in the first game. Did not come out on top. They hit 3, including that bomb from Trey Phelps in the top of the 14th that turned out to be the game winner. Georgia leads the SEC in home runs. They lead the SEC in slugging percentage. They have 6 guys on their roster with double-digit home runs. They live and die by the long ball, and they've done a whole lot more living than dying.
Yeah, this is a team that can really swing it. Not only do the numbers show it, but the eye test shows it. You watch them swing the bat. It is so difficult to navigate through this lineup more than a couple of times.
The defense looks vastly different today for Ole Miss. A couple of guys banged up, and so you see Owen Pano getting the start at third base today. We've seen him at shortstop some this weekend. And, yes, that is Judd Utermark penciled in as the starting center fielder. We are told that in a pinch hit situation, Hayden Federico is available but could not go. And you see Colin Reuter getting the start at catcher. Yesterday, Austin Fawley was hit on the knee by a pitch. He is in the lineup for Ole Miss as a designated hitter, but there's some discomfort with getting into that normal catching squat that he has, and so it looks a little bit different today for the Rebels.
It does, and you see Utermark right there. He is Ole Miss's most versatile player. I mean, he can play anywhere on the field. Obviously, we will see him in center.
Had multiple starts in the outfield a year ago, but this is the first time that he has played or started in center field. Had a few in left field last year and also 2 seasons ago.
Something with the mound Taylor Rabe wasn't thrilled with in his warm-up pitches. Mike Bianco now out there with home plate umpire Eddie Newsom.
Looked as if they were looking at the landing spot.
Yeah.
Hayden Federico yesterday with an incredible catch in the warning track to end Game 1. It was a game-saving catch in that Georgia, that ball falls, going to tie it up at that point. And he has been one of the hottest hitters in the entire SEC for the month of April. So we'll see if we see Federico later in the ballgame. Trey Phelps, the hero for Georgia in the 14th, takes a fastball high for ball 1. The junior from Atlanta, homegrown product. It is 15th home run of the year, 41st RBI in last night's ballgame. After 9+ hours of baseball yesterday, we get a delay before first pitch, and then a ball gets on the field down the left field line, and now we're ready for the second pitch of the game. This one is hit in the air to right field. Tristan Becerra will make the catch. 1 batter and 1 out. Good start for Taylor Rabe.
Yeah, you see that velocity right away. That was 97 up in the zone. He is a big, tall guy. When you get that tall guy throwing that hard, it just feels like it's a hitter. He's releasing the ball right on top of you.
kind of kicking off his cleats in the grass after that pitch. I don't know if it's a little gummy, perhaps, on the mound in front of him. Here's Daniel Jackson, and he takes a fastball for a strike. That's 3 pitches, 3 at 97 from Rabe. Daniel Jackson became the first Georgia Bulldog in program history yesterday to join the 2020 club. 20 home runs and 20 stolen bases. Leads the SEC in batting average, home runs, and runs batted in. Caught in game 1, DH in game 2, and he's back behind the dish for the 3rd game of the series today, and he's now ahead in the count. You see Dominic De La Osa at Vanderbilt back in 2007. Finished on exactly those numbers. Benintendi, who has gone on to have an exceptional big league career, did it at Arkansas in 2015.
And Jackson's got some time to add on, significant number of games left to add on to those numbers, which really are incredible. 380, 320 home runs, 60 RBIs, and then, by the way, he can also steal bags for you.
3 balls and a strike, and Jackson hits a high chopper middle of the infield. Decker has to kind of double clutch, and he's able to get it over to first in time for the out.
Ole Miss had Jackson shifted up the middle, so that ball ended up right to Decker. Did have a little bit of an issue getting it out of his glove.
Lance Cormier yesterday, he and I debated a little bit, could Jackson chase 30-30? Now with 21 stolen bases, 20 home runs.
Certainly depending on how the postseason, how many games he's able to get in the postseason. Obviously, Georgia would like to play for a long time, give him a lot more chances at it.
2 down in the inning, and here's Rylan Lujo. Moves up in the lineup a bit. Made a good defensive play late in last night's ball game out in center field.
You and Lance had a long time to talk about a lot of stuff yesterday. That was cool. From 1 o'clock start of the doubleheader to getting close to midnight Central Time when you finished.
It's the 2nd longest game in Georgia baseball history. This one fouled off. Their longest was a midweek game against Clemson a few years ago, but it was the longest SEC game. As you get a look from Wes Johnson, I visited with him a bit before the game today. He said, "Got to sleep fast." Isn't that what they say? He said, sometimes the days are long and the nights are short. Back-to-back years as a top 8. In his 3rd season, 119 wins for Wes Johnson at Georgia.
And certainly trending toward a 3rd straight year. A lot of games left to play, but you like where Georgia stands today. With 3 weekends left, regular season weekends left after this afternoon's game.
All 2 strikes to Lujo. On the ground, this is Decker once again. This one is clean, and Georgia goes 1-2-3 in the top of the 1st. Ole Miss coming to the plate when we come back. For the 2nd time this weekend, it is Caden Aoki on the mound for Georgia, this time, though, as a starter. A veteran in college baseball, 6 feet, 185 pounds, out of Huntington Beach, California. Career that began in South Bend, Indiana, then went to Los Angeles, California, and now it is Athens, Georgia. And Aoki has been kind of a Swiss Army knife for this Georgia pitching staff.
Yeah, as you said, we've seen him out of the bullpen. Now you're going to see him as a starter. Not going to blow you away with that fastball. Going to be upper 80s, maybe touch some low 90s. He's going to mix his pitches. He is a strike thrower, and he really does rely on those secondary pitches. Doesn't throw a ton of fastballs. We'll see how long he goes, as Georgia has a whole bunch of guys in their bullpen. I suspect that we will see them early and often today.
Inning and 2/3 yesterday, gave up 4 hits and 4 earned runs. 3 solo home runs given up yesterday. He had only given up 3 home runs all season long. You see the Ole Miss lineup, and the home run has been such a massive part of the Rebels' offense. 16 of their 17 runs scored coming via the long ball over the 2 games and 23 innings yesterday. Alan Lujo and Black in the outfield. So Ryan Black played second base in yesterday's second game. You get a look at Trey Phelps there at third base. Veteran presence on this Georgia team, and he has played an elite defensive third base this weekend.
You could argue that bunt play he made late yesterday, saving an out on a sac bunt, might have saved Georgia the game as much as him winning the game with his home run in the 14th.
Dom Decker to start things off against Caden Aoki. He takes strike 1. Eddie Newsom is the home plate umpire today. You'll get a look at Decker's numbers. 8 home runs for a guy that did not hit a home run at Murray State. Yesterday, his biggest day as a Rebel with a pair of home runs in that first ball game. Getting 1 in the 7th and then a 3-run home run in the 8th to give Ole Miss the lead and put them in a spot to get, maybe even steal game 1 after trailing 8-0.
I was going to say, complete that 8-run comeback.
The 1-1. Down low, 2 balls and a strike to Dom Decker. Throwing on consecutive days, more physical or mental?
Well, I mean, certain guys can bounce back quicker than other guys. And for some guys, they like to. They feel like their stuff's a little better, maybe the velocity down a little bit. But, again, Aoki, not a guy that's going to rely on that, fastball to blow you away. So sometimes that feel a little better on day 2. And guy that we just talked about being a strike thrower proceeds to walk the first hitter of the game.
5-pitch walk to Dom Decker. Ole Miss with the man on base to start things off. And now Tristan Becerra. Senior from Greenville, South Carolina, the Clemson transfer, 19 home runs to lead Ole Miss. Also tops in the RBI category for the Rebels. Yesterday was a baseball day in his life that he would probably choose to erase from the memory bank. A lot of at-bats, not any production, though. And a big swing and miss there. Over the breaking ball for strike 1. Tristan Becerra 0 for 13 across the 2 games yesterday.
Including making the final out in the 14th inning for Ole Miss. Yeah, 0 for 5, and you're thinking can bounce back in game 2 and go 0 for 8.
There goes Decker, pitch down and in. Jackson with the throw to second, and ball pops out. Decker with the stolen base. Not an Ole Miss team that runs a lot.
That's exactly where I was going. Ole Miss doesn't run much at all, and certainly in conference games, very little. Jackson had a little issue getting that ball out of his glove. Branch covering, just can't hold on to it. I think if he holds on to it, probably is an out if he's able to make the tag. Ole Miss gets man in scoring position here in the first with nobody out.
8th stolen base of the year for Dom Decker. He is now 8 out of 10. And in scoring position as Ole Miss tries to strike first. 2 balls and a strike now to Tristan Becerra. Set up a weekend to go huge for Ole Miss. 3 home runs, 1 in each game against Tennessee. He drove in 8 of the Rebels' runs on the weekend against the Vols in a series win on the road. Hits this one in the air, out of play, third base side, and that will even the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes for Tristan Becerra.
Had a good pitch to hit right there, as you see last weekend's numbers compared to yesterday's numbers. When Becerra's going good, he doesn't miss that hanging breaking ball. Fouled that one off.
Two-two to the Rebels' right fielder. Aoki from the stretch, and he fouls it off again. If you have a hitter that can be a little streaky sometimes, is there anything that you do to try to kind of pull it back to the basics?
Well, I think that's probably the best way to look at it. You just go back to what were you doing when things were going good? And again, sometimes it's just baseball being baseball, right, guys? You don't go 3 for every 10 if you're a 300 hitter.
Decker at second. The pitch to Becerra. This one grounded up the middle, and there's going to be no throw. And the first hit of the weekend for Tristan Becerra is a 3-hopper on the infield with no throw.
Yeah, Wynn was pulled way over in the 4 hole, so by the time he gets to this ball, there's just no chance. As you see that defensive setup right there, ball just not hit hard. Wynn makes the smart play, doesn't throw it anywhere.
2-hopper to Win at second base, but nevertheless, a guy that has smashed it all over the yard for much of the season.
It's a bouncing infield hit.
That's right.
After an 0 for 13 day. Feels pretty good at first base, by the way, though.
I would imagine.
Yes, he does.
Now Judd Utermark to the plate, the senior from Charlotte, North Carolina. 17 home runs, 40 runs batted in. Tried to give Ole Miss an early lead. Fouls it off for strike one. Utermark getting his first ever start in center field today for Ole Miss. You made the point earlier when we were looking at the defensive alignment. In terms of versatility, seen him at third. He's America's biggest second baseman a year ago. He's played multiple spots in the outfield. There's obviously value, but there also has to be a level of trust, right, for Mike Bianco to say, hey, I can just go put you anywhere.
Yeah, and those guys are, so, as you said, there's so much value to players like Utermark. Number one, he's a team leader. Obviously, physically, he is gifted. But his versatility, it does allow you to do things like they've done today to mix the lineup up a little bit after an injury to Federico.
Keeping an eye on Becerra over at first base. And Becerra runs well. He is 7 for 9 on the year in stolen bases. In fact, the two guys on the base paths right now have 15 of Ole Miss's 38 steals this year. Utermark behind in the count. The 0-2. Puts it on the ground, but that's wide of the bag at third. Trey Phelps knocks it down.
And just finishing the thought on Utermark, it's not just that you can plug him into places. He plays those places well. I mean, he didn't play second last year because he couldn't play second. He played second because he played second really well. He's played a great third base, and we've seen him in the outfield run balls down as well.
There was some internal discussion very quietly earlier in the year when Ole Miss was having some issues defensively at shortstop about whether or not moving Utermark to shortstop made sense. The 0-2 again, and he hangs in there. There is nobody out in the bottom of the first inning, and Georgia has a left-hander up and starting to throw in the bullpen.
It felt like it was probably going to be one of those days once we saw that Aoki was starting. You didn't think Aoki was likely going to go super deep into the game.
I thought yesterday that Dylan Vignew was going to start for Georgia. Vignew came out of the Friday game last weekend at Arkansas, or game one of that series, with some discomfort. This one bounces in the dirt for ball one. Utermark lays off. Told that the initial thought was that kind of almost felt like cramping. They ran some tests. Everything appears to be clean. But out of an abundance of caution, Wes Johnson said going to give him another week and see where things are. And so we will see what direction it goes. It's Kenny Ishikawa throwing in the bullpen for Georgia right now. Two-way player. Saw him in right field yesterday. Ball and 2 strikes. On the ground. Handled by Branch. The flip to second for 1. The throw to first in time for the double play. 6-4-3, but a run comes home to score. Decker steps on home plate, and Ole Miss takes the 1-0 lead.
Well, Branch is such a good shortstop defensively. This ball's hit hard. It's 108 miles an hour off the bat. Branch ranging to his left, gets that ball out, win with the turn, and looks like Ole Miss is going to ask for a review of that play at first.
Take another look. In real time, it looked like it was a double play.
I agree with you.
A win, good turn. I don't know if that's enough. May have to pull the old Hawkeye out.
Udemark runs well, and it's not just runs well for a big guy. Udemark can get down the line. It's just that ball got to Branch so quickly.
Looks like the ball's in the glove before the foot comes down on the back.
That call's going to stand. That's going to be an out.
After review, the runner is out at first base. Mississippi has 1 challenge remaining.
So only 1 challenge remaining for Ole Miss after the review. Pacetta out at first and Udermark at second, but a run does score. No RBI awarded there.
That's a big play by Branso. That ball goes into left center. If he doesn't make that play, that's going to be first and third, nobody out, and a run in. Instead, it's a run in, but it's 2 outs and nobody on base. That is an inning-changing play.
What a day yesterday for Will Furniss. Came into the day with 2 home runs on the season. If you've been watching Furniss over the last few weeks, you kind of feel like he's been swinging it a little bit better and wondering, hey, when do the power numbers come around? Well, he hit 3 home runs yesterday. Up to 5 on the year. Senior first baseman from Nacogdoches, Texas. Aoki misses away. The other piece to your point about instead of having first and third, nobody out, now having 2 outs, you give Aoki a chance to extend. He can get out of the inning without much damage and not get Georgia started on that bullpen roulette wheel.
Yeah, certainly wasn't what Georgia wanted to hear when they came out today with Aoki having to be the starter based on who they were expecting to start today. After playing 23 innings yesterday, that is not exactly what you want. You need to get as much length out of your starter as you can after 23 innings.
Georgia playing the shift against Will Furniss. Aoki behind in the count, 2 balls and a strike. He gets a swing and a miss there with the fastball. There's so much off speed and moving things around with Aoki. I guess you can live with that fastball in the upper 80s.
That is exactly the right way to look at that. When you mix it the way he does, it makes that fastball play a lot harder than that 88 mile an hour we just saw.
Outside full count to Will Furniss.
But based on your conversation with Wes Johnson, sounds like the information with Vigu was likely good. Hopefully get him back just 1 extra week where he wasn't throwing here in Oxford.
It sounded like that was certainly their hope. Outside ball 4, Will Furniss draws the walk, and the outstanding weekend for Furniss continues. 5 for 8. That's a .625 average. Also the 3rd time he has walked this weekend.
Yeah, hitting .342 in SEC games. He's really turned it on.
Topher Jones now to the plate. He moves up in the order today, hitting the 9 hole in both starts yesterday. Hitting behind Will Furniss in the 5 spot of the lineup. A couple of outstanding defensive plays for Topher Jones.
That dive and play on the warning track was fantastic yesterday.
That was in game 2. Georgia with the bases loaded. Full extension in the kind of crushed gravel of the warning track. He is behind 0-2.
Ole Miss has played a whole bunch of guys in left field this year, really kind of hunting who's going to be the guy. It feels like Topher Jones here recently getting a real opportunity to be that guy the rest of the year.
Limited opportunities so far. This is the 12th start of the year for Topher Jones. Just his 36th at bat of the season. He's got a couple of home runs, but this is one of those guys, if you watch hit during batting practice, you recognize that there is some pop in the bat.
That is exactly the right word again. He definitely can drive the baseball. That ball jumps off his bat.
Chopper to third. Phelps going to go the short route to second for the force to end the inning. Ole Miss a run on a hit. Man left on base. 1-0 after 1. This is what it looked like yesterday. Just a normal run-of-the-mill 9-inning game where Georgia led 8-0 and Ole Miss scored 10 unanswered in game 1. And then there was game 2 that was anything but normal. Georgia led 7-3 after the top of the 5th inning. Ole Miss came back, tied it with a 2-run home run from Will Furness in the bottom of the 9th inning. A lot of opportunities. Ole Miss did not have a hit in extra innings after that Will Furness hit, and this is the breakdown across 2 games. 9 hours, 24 minutes. 847 combined pitches. You see the runs, hits, strikeouts, walks. I mean, just – if you love baseball, you got baseball yesterday. Michael O'Shaughnessy leading off for Georgia. So 34 combined runs, 46 hits, 56 strikeouts, 29 walks.
And what did you tell me? 2 errors? Is that what I remember you telling me?
That is correct.
When you were going through all those numbers?
And
I mean, it was good baseball yesterday. Those were 2 fantastic baseball games.
It's an Ole Miss team that's gotten better defensively as the season has gone along. They're up to 975. Georgia's been elite defensively. The 2 errors were Georgia. First ball hit to Branch at shortstop in game 2, and the next batter grounded into a double play.
And that was a tough ball for Branch, by the way. It was in between hop, but it was an error.
And then a pickoff that allowed Braden Randall to get from first base to second base in extra innings. That was it.
Out of 847 pitches.
In that second game in particular, the 14 innings, 559 pitches.
Did you have to rest your voice last night? You called 559 pitches in game 2.
I did. I did this little thing called sleep.
That's how you rested it?
Yeah. My wife woke me up this morning and said, hey, the girls want donuts. O'Shaughnessy down on strikes. First strikeout of the game for Taylor Rave. Good start to him, retiring the first 4 that he's faced.
Yeah, it's just a fastball up in the zone. Probably is a strike. But boy, that is tough to catch up to at 98 miles an hour.
I assumed that Jane meant when she said the girls want donuts that meant that I needed to go pick them up.
That was a good assumption.
Yeah. So donuts we had, and a little bit of bottle tree. There's a swing and a miss. Bryce Callaway getting the start in this ball game. The senior from New Orleans. He is, as Keith Jackson once said, man-sized. Watched him in batting practice today. Two-way guy. From New Orleans and a transfer from UNO. 6'4", 265. Callaway with 3 home runs and 14 driven in on the year. I think, candidly, Georgia maybe expected a little more from Callaway than they have gotten this year. He takes a strike there and is behind in the count 1-2. It's the 13th start of the year, the 25th game that Bryce Callaway has played in, but something that you've talked about a lot. When you talk about the transfer portal, you never know exactly how it's going to play out when you step up a level. Callaway hits this one high in the air to center field. First opportunity for Utermark. Makes it look fairly routine. On a routine fly ball to center.
Yeah, these coaching staffs have so many analytical tools now where they're trying to evaluate based on where you played, and how that is going to translate. But it just doesn't always. And then sometimes it just doesn't in the time frame that you get. I mean, if you're only going to get 30, 40 at bats at the beginning of the season, better be a good 30 or 40 at bats before they try somebody else.
Henry Allen, the left fielder. Goes after the first pitch. He hits this one into the left center field gap. Utermark started to dive, decided not to. Now he's got to chase it down. Allen going to stand in at second base with a 2-out double. First hit of the game for Georgia.
Allen been sitting in the dugout watching a lot of first pitch fastballs today. Decided he was not going to be late on this one, and he was not. Nice short stroke. Gets the barrel to the ball. As you said, Utermark looks like he's going to lay out. Does it? And Georgia, with a couple of men out now, has a man in scoring position.
If he were going to lay out and get to that, it was going to take like a Superman-style dive, not one where you're trying to catch it down. He was going to have to go get it up high. Here, Ryan Wynn with an opportunity to tie this game with a base hit. Takes strike one, a fastball at 97. Wynn from Douglasville, Georgia, the junior. Played in game 1 yesterday. Starter at second base. Wynn lines it out into right field. It's going to be picked up by Becerra. Georgia going to try to tie it. The throw to the plate, cut off, no throw to the plate. And it's back-to-back base hits with 2 outs in the inning. Georgia knots it at 1.
Yeah, backside knock. That's a good piece of hitting right there by Wynn. You get the fastball, and the fastball is down and away. And just be nice and short to the baseball. Use that hole on the right side. And Allen with 2 outs doesn't have to hesitate at all. Scores easily, and Georgia, as you said, answers right back.
So now the 8-hole hitter, Colby Branch. Veteran shortstop for Georgia. Branch goes after the first pitch, lines it through the right side. Ole Miss was shifted up the middle, had Decker played up the middle. Branch takes advantage of that wide open right side of the infield. 3 straight hits for Georgia.
And 2 of the last 3 on first pitch fastballs. Branch hit the ball so hard yesterday. Didn't have a ton to show for it, but man, good swings all day yesterday. Comes up, rockets one through the right side first at bat today.
Now the 9-hole hitter, Ryan Black, but first a conversation on the mound. Joel Mangrum, the pitching coach for Ole Miss, going to go out and visit with Taylor Rabe. So nothing wrong with the first pitch fastball, but sometimes it's about location, right? It can't just be middle if that's what a hitter's hunting.
Absolutely. And again, Joel Mangum's the one calling the pitches. He's obviously the one looking at the chart. He's the one that has the scouting report, knows how they want to attack hitters. Certainly worked well through the first 5 hitters of the game. But yes, I mean, you certainly, when you face a team like Georgia, you're going to have to mix your pitches. You're going to have to locate well. And even then, sometimes, you know what? The hitter's going to win. The guy at the plate's trying too.
And this is probably the perfect illustration of the depth of Georgia's lineup. You get through Phelps, Jackson, Lujo, O'Shaughnessy, Callaway, and then it's 6, 7, and 8 that go double, single, single. There's a first pitch strike to Ryan Black, the right fielder today. 9-hole hitter hitting .311 with 6 home runs.
Yeah, there's no break in the lineup. There's no time you could take a deep breath on the mound and think, okay, just lay it in there. We're going to be okay. This Georgia team attacks 1 through 9. They swing it well.
Ryan Black behind in the count, no balls and 2 strikes. One ball game between Ole Miss and Georgia. That one bounces in and hits Ryan Black in the foot. And so after a really good start for Taylor Rabe, he's run into some issues, and he's going to have to face Trey Phelps at the top of the order for the Bulldogs.
It looked like he tried to go kind of back foot slider right there. Obviously held on to it a bit long. Hit Black in the front foot.
4 in a row reach at the bottom of the order. 6, 7, 8, and 9 for Georgia. And so Trey Phelps to the plate. Head of Phelps. Fastball for a strike. Trey Phelps flew out to left to start the ball game. Flew out to right to start the game, I beg your pardon. Win at third, Branch at second, Black at first, and this pitch runs inside, 2-1.
Back-to-back sliders, and again, we saw a little bit of this last week with Taylor Rabe against Tennessee. Had trouble locating the off-speed, and if you become one-dimensional at this level, that gets really difficult to get hitters out.
On the ground, fielded by Decker. He'll go to first. That ends the inning, and that is a big ground out for Taylor Rabe. Georgia gets 1, but leaves them loaded. Tied after an inning and a half. Georgia, the 5th-ranked team in the country, taking on number 17, Ole Miss. Georgia trying to win a series here in Oxford for the first time since 2011. These two teams have played some really competitive series through the years. Ole Miss trying to notch a top 5 opponent series win. It's been a couple of years since that has happened. Two teams playing good baseball in the month of April. Owen Pano to lead off against Caden Aoki. A lot of traffic in the first inning. Aoki helped out by the double play ball hit by Utermark. He walked a couple and gave up an infield single. It's Pano to swing and miss at the fastball up in the zone. Really is wild, the different ways that you can play the game, the different ways you can be successful as a pitcher. Pano on the ground. That's past Wynn, diving out into right field. A base hit for Rebel third baseman today, Owen Pano.
Off-speed pitch. This one is down to the zone, but Pano stays back. Georgia, unlike many teams that we have seen play Ole Miss, particularly these Ole Miss left-handed hitters, they're not shifting. I mean, that's a ball we're used to seeing Pano hit right to a second baseman standing there. Georgia playing it a little bit differently this weekend.
They've done some shifting with 2 strikes, but as far as just like this is what we're going to do from an alignment standpoint. Here's Braden Randall, who had a massive day yesterday. He hits this one out to center field off the end of the bat, and that's going to fall in front of Lujo. He looked for a moment like he might try to dive and come up with a spectacular play, but decided he couldn't get there.
You called it. This one's right off the end of the bat. Lujo just can't get there. Not going to take a chance and overrun it. Play it into a single. That was a smart play right there.
Braden Randall now 5 for 7 on the weekend.
Yeah, have a weekend. Did not start game 1 yesterday.
Pinch hit late in that ball game and had a double, scored a run. Here's Colin Reuter, and he chases one out of the zone. Swing and a miss for strike 1.
Reuter was on fire the first, 6 weeks of the season probably? Maybe the pre-conference part of the schedule. It has been much more difficult for him once the SEC game started.
Colin Reuter, the transfer from BYU from Olive Branch. It's a long way from Olive Branch to Provo.
A lot closer Olive Branch to Oxford. That is factually correct.
I mean, I guess you could jump on that Salt Lake City flight that's direct, but still takes longer. Beautiful ballpark setting for BYU's baseball field. They've got the Wasatch Mountains just beyond the outfield wall. All in 2 strikes. And Reuter chases again out of the zone and goes down swinging.
Yeah, that breaking ball away has been the one that's given him all sorts of issues with right-handed pitchers. Nice job by Aoki right there. Even if a guy has trouble, you still have to locate it. And Aoki throws a perfect 2-strike pitch. Ball's in the zone a long way, then breaks out.
Austin Fawley okay to hit today, and he is in the DH spot, batting in the 9 hole. Got a grand slam in game 1 yesterday, and then a 2-run home run in the 2nd inning of game 2. Fawley hit by a pitch in the 4th inning of yesterday's game, and it looked like it got him right on the kneecap. I think maybe stayed in for 1 more inning, and then made the substitution, brought Reuter into the game. First and second with one down to Foley, and he lays off the fastball out of the zone.
Yeah, Foley's a guy, and you see Jackson is as well, that likes to catch the way a lot of guys do now with that knee on the ground. And the knee that got hit is the one he likes to catch with on the ground. And yesterday he just couldn't do it, and obviously wasn't comfortable today either. See Jackson with that right knee on the ground.
Able to block it there. When did that really become acceptable? I don't think that's how Tom Amansky taught it in the video with Fred McGriff.
That is relatively new. That and starting with your glove, at the bottom of the strike zone and working up all the time. Those are definitely kind of new age catching techniques. But you certainly see it all over college baseball and even in the big leagues now with that, even with runners on, catching with the knee down.
3-1 now to Austin Foley. Does it have to do with overall athleticism for the catchers, the ability to move?
I think that's probably certainly part of it. It was not my area of expertise when I was coaching, but it certainly has become commonplace in today's game.
There's a strike that nips the corner, and the count goes full now on Austin Foley. He was a step toward first base.
And this is where we have seen teams throw breaking balls to Foley. This 2-strike. Foley has had a hard time laying off those balls down and away.
First and second with one down in a 1-1 game. A fastball at the knees, and he swings over the top of it. Second strikeout in a row for Aoki.
Foley just pulls off that one a little bit, and you can see he's just late on that 89-mile-an-hour fastball. And it's what happens when you start worrying about spin, especially with 2 strikes. You end up getting behind that fastball, and Aoki got a chance to work out of what could have been a mess for him here in the bottom of the second.
Top of the order, Dom Decker walked and scored in the first inning. Pano and Randall, back-to-back singles to start the inning, but then back-to-back strikeouts of Reuter and Foley. Decker picked up his 8th stolen base of the year after walking to start the ball game. He's ahead in the count, 2-0. Georgia pulled up the middle with Branch, the shortstop, and you've got Wynn, the second baseman, pulled over toward the first base side. So a couple of holes up the middle, either side of the bag at second for Decker. And he's ahead in the count, 3-0 with Tristan Becerra on deck.
Yeah, that shifts more like what you see in the big leagues now, right? Where you got to have 2 infielders on each side of second base. Everybody has to have their feet in the dirt.
There's a strike right down the middle. Fastball at 88 from Aoki. This ball hit to the first baseman, O'Shaughnessy. He's able to squeeze it. Ole Miss strands a pair. That's 3 left on through 2 innings. Still a 1-1 game. Charlie Condon in 2024 hit 37 home runs for Georgia, and he slugged over 1,000. I think that puts in perspective just how good that season was for Condon, as you see Daniel Jackson, who's got 20 home runs, 60 runs batted in. He's slugging .805 with about a 1,400 OPS.
Yeah, Condon did some things in 2024 that were hard to imagine and hard to believe we're going to see much of again.
Gordon Beckham pretty good on that list also.
Yes, he was.
What a career he had at shortstop for Georgia. And then in the big leagues as well. Daniel Jackson 0 for 1 with the ground out to second. Taylor Rabe out for the top of the third inning. He retired the first 5 hitters in the game, then gave up double, single, hit a batter, and got Trey Phelps to ground out to second to end the inning with the bases loaded. So both teams have stranded 3 through their first 2 at-bats.
We've talked so many times the importance of minimizing innings. And certainly last inning, Taylor Rabe, that one could have gotten away from him. Same with Aoki. He didn't just minimize, he threw up a 0 after first and second, nobody out.
One. Jackson hits this one in the air to center field. Utermark, a little bit of a late break, and he's going to watch it leave the yard. That's the first home run of the weekend for Daniel Jackson, his 21st of the year, and he hit it to straightaway center field.
Correct, that was a cutter out over the plate. Again, big, strong guy, man. Hit that ball to center field. A little bit of wind helping, but not a lot today. You see just a little bit of cut out over the plate. And that swing, you can certainly see why that has got 21 home runs now. What a season.
Maybe not the loudest weekend of the year for Daniel Jackson, but he has 6 hits and 13 at-bats. He scored 5 runs. He's now driven in a couple. He's up to 61 runs batted in for the year. Trying to become the first ever non-Mississippi State Bulldog to win the Triple Crown in the SEC. Will Clark was Rafael Palmeiro was the first to do it. And a few years ago, Brent Rooker led the SEC in batting average, home runs, and runs batted in.
Is that right? That's it? 2? 2 guys?
2 ever.
Amazing.
Rafael Palmeiro in 1984 hit .415 with 29 home runs and 94 runs batted in. And 33 years later, Brent Rooker hit .387 with 23 home runs and 82 driven in.
Rooker has carved himself quite a career in MLB right now as well.
Yes, he has. 1-2. This one fouled off by Rylan Lujo behind in the count. A ball and 2 strikes. See Daniel Jackson trying to become the 3rd member of that exclusive club.
When you think about all the names of hitters that have come through this league and only 2, again, I mean, not an easy stat, clearly, to lead batting average, home run, RBIs, but
well, certainly you've had guys that have led the league in home runs and runs driven in, but didn't have the batting average to go with it.
Well, Condon almost certainly had to be that guy, right? One of them.
Yes. I think Eddie Furness would be in that category as well. That Brent Rooker season in 2017, he was the first player in SEC history to go for 20 home runs, 30 doubles, 75 driven in a year. Charlie Condon in 2024. I think Braden Montgomery ended up leading the SEC in RBIs that year because Condon early in May had a .459 average, was sitting on 33 home runs at that point. There's a swing and a miss, a strikeout for Rabe. He's able to get Lujo on strikes after fouling it off on his foot earlier in the at-bat.
Just a fastball. I think this one's just down out of the zone. I don't think that one's a strike. Lujo chases. Some good swings at a bat, too. Frustrating when you're going back to the dugout. You saw it pretty well and end up striking out.
Georgia in front 2-1 after the solo home run from Daniel Jackson. 4 hits by Georgia. This ball out into right field, and that's going to fall in front of Tristan Becerra. Has it bounce up off of his chest, but straight in front of him. So Michael O'Shaughnessy with the base hit, his first of the game. After that 0 for 5 start to the game, Georgia has hit it hard all over the yard.
Yes, certainly it appears that they have a pretty good handle right now with Taylor Rabe.
Where it's going to be interesting to see how both of these teams handle their bullpens. Obviously, when you have combined almost 900 pitches over the first 2 games, you have applied some stress to the arms on your staff.
Yeah, and those were tight games. Those were when you were using like leverage relievers. Sometimes you can throw a bunch of pitches in a game because you're getting killed. That was not the case yesterday with either one of these two teams. Obviously, those games were tight.
Georgia used 8 pitchers across the 2 games, including Caden Aoki. We got the start today. Ole Miss used 11 pitchers total yesterday. Bryce Callaway flew out to center field his first time up. That's with the runner on first and 1 down in the inning. And he fouls it off behind in the count 1-2. Taylor Rabe, the sophomore in his 3rd year in the program, redshirted his first year after an injury. Punches out Callaway there for the 3rd strikeout of the game, 2nd out of the inning.
Yeah, good cutter right there. Just freezes Callaway.
Arm injury his freshman year, did not appear in 2024. Last year, 15 appearances with a couple of starts. Rabe this year with 10 appearances prior to today. This is 5th start of the season, and he starts Henry Allen with a strike on the outside corner. May have gotten a little bit of an extension there from Eddie Newsom, the home plate umpire. Two weeks ago against LSU, Rabe pitched into the 7th inning, did not allow a hit until he gave up back-to-back home runs to start the 7th to LSU. Last week lasted just 3 innings against Tennessee, 6 hits and 5 earned runs. Season high in strikeouts came in relief against Ohio State. He had 7 strikeouts in that ball game. No balls and 2 strikes to Henry Allen. Allen fights this one off, fouls it down the right field line into the seats.
Yeah, Rabe had done a great job coming out of the bullpen. And then when Will Libbert, who was Ole Miss's 3rd starter, started having some issues, Ole Miss looked at Hudson Calhoun and then basically have now settled on Taylor Rabe as that 3rd weekend starter. And as you said a couple weeks ago on this field, he could not have been better against LSU.
Ground ball right side, and that's a base hit. Decker was pulled up the middle. O'Shaughnessy kind of lumbering his way to third base, but he's able to go first to third on the ground ball. And Georgia threatening with 2 outs here in the third. Is that 3 hits through that right side? Kind of vacated because of positioning.
That is correct. Wynn and Branch last inning hit kind of line drives. Not sure the positioning is much on those. That certainly is a routine ground ball to second base. If you're not shifted, but the shift works, you know, you're not sitting there questioning it. Sometimes it just doesn't. That time it did not help Ole Miss.
William Shakespeare's birthday was last week. I feel like he would have written something like "The shift giveth and the shift taketh away."
I did not have Shakespeare on my bingo card for Sunday.
Had to dig deep. Used a lot of content yesterday. 1-0 pitch. This one's fouled back off the bat of Ryan Wynn. He had one of those 2 hits through the right side that we were talking about in the second inning.
I was very pleased I was a late game scratch for game 2 yesterday. I had the game 2 call. Lance ended up sticking on the air, and that was quite a good call. 6.5 hours later.
On the ground is short, backhanded by Randall. Long throw across the infield in time to end the inning. Georgia strands 2 more. But Daniel Jackson with his 21st home run of the year gives Georgia its first lead of the day. Dogs in front, 2-1. This morning at St. Simon's Island at the Seaside course at Sea Island Golf Club, the Ole Miss men's golf team knocked off Florida to win the SEC, their first conference team title since 1984. The run-through match play included wins over Texas A&M, Auburn yesterday, the #1 seed with the #1 ranked amateur in the world, Jackson Coyven, and then a 4-1 win today over Florida. Rebels got a victory from Tom Fisher, 5-4. Collins Trolio won his match 4-3. The deciding match was Cam Tankersley winning 1-up over Parker Sands. Cohen Trolio and Daniel Toff tied their matches, so a half a point in both of those. Ole Miss winning 4-1 over Florida to claim the SEC championship. They were 4th after stroke play, 20 under par, and so kind of good spot in the seeding to not potentially meet one of those top 4 teams until the semifinals. But boy, to get the #1 seed Auburn and then the #2 seed Florida in back-to-back match play matches, really impressive stuff.
Hey, congrats to Chris Malloy and his guys. Good luck in the NCAA tournament.
Tristan Becerra behind in the count, no balls and 2 strikes. And he goes down swinging. Over the top of a breaking ball there, a 3-pitch strikeout. Becerra retired to start the third.
This is just the curveball. And Utermark, as you called it perfectly, swings over the top of it. A lot of that this weekend. A lot of kind of rolling over, swinging over. I believe I had the wrong name. Becerra at the plate. Who did I say? Pacella?
Said Utermark. Who's at the plate now?
Yeah, I was all confused.
Yeah, mine moving fast. All good.
Well, Becerra has rolled over some balls this weekend.
Utermark yanks this one down the third baseline.
How about Phelps making that one look easy? No, it was in between hop, backhand. It was foul, but goodness.
The play that stood out yesterday, we talked about it earlier, was Phelps charging on the bunt. But earlier in the second game, he had an absolute rocket that was hit at his ankles. And he made the play backing up and then started a double play with it. It's one of those.
Georgia can field it. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, obviously the offense gets all the headlines, but they can pick it.
Ball and a strike to Utermark. Now 2-1. That's the 50th pitch of the game for Aoki, and almost batting in the third inning. I would think that Wes Johnson's got to be pretty pleased with what he has seen so far.
I would think so as well. Well, we saw action in the bottom of the first in that Georgia bullpen. See Wes Johnson looking on. There's no action right now in the bullpen.
There's a strike to Utermark, and the count evens at 2-2. A couple of walks in that first inning may have been concerning for Georgia. Aoki began his career at Notre Dame and transferred to Southern Cal. This ball in the air, out into right field. Lujo and Black on the run. Ballpark gonna hold this one as Lujo makes the catch one step in front of the wall in deep right center field.
Yeah, that's one that nobody in the ballpark, including Utermark, was sure if it's going to leave the ballpark or not. There's just really no wind at all. Usually day games here, that wind's going to blow out, and that would have been a home run, but Lujo able to get to the wall and make the play.
In the early game yesterday, even with the wind out of the north, it was kind of blowing toward the right field foul pole, and I think would have helped that one out.
100%.
Not on this day, and now it's Will Furness's turn. Utermark just missing his 18th home run of the year. Ball's hit really high by Utermark. Off the bat, I didn't think it had a chance to get even close to the wall, and it just kept carrying, but Lujo played it perfectly, got to the wall, knew where he was, and made the catch. How many SEC teams get to Omaha this year?
3.
Okay.
But don't ask me which 3. I'm just going with like the statistical odds. That many high RPI teams means that many teams are going to host. A bunch of them will host supers. I got 3.
3 weeks ago, Ole Miss really not on anybody's radar as a potential host, but the Rebels won 8 of their last 11 in the SEC, and have very much moved themselves into the conversation. Will Furness hits it right into the shift. You had Wynn playing out in shallow right field. He takes away a line drive base hit from Furness. 2-1 after 3, Georgia in front. Talking about Ole Miss and the possibility of hosting, you look at the metrics for the Rebels, currently at number 9 in the NCAA RPI and 5th in terms of strength of schedule, 10 top 25 RPI wins. D1 Baseball, in their most recent projections, I think they came out last Wednesday, has the Rebels as the number 14 overall seed, which would mean postseason baseball at Swayze.
I think it's hard to argue if the season ended today, Ole Miss wouldn't be hosting. Just like it's impossible to argue that Georgia wouldn't be a national seed in hosting.
And interesting when you compare the two resumes. Obviously, Georgia with more SEC wins, a couple more than Ole Miss. They've got 14 in the league compared to 11 for Ole Miss, with the RPI higher, the strength of schedule higher, and yet in D1 baseball, and they do as good a job covering college baseball as anybody, projecting Georgia at that number 6 national seed.
Yeah, I can't fathom a scenario where the team that is leading the SEC or wins the regular season title, almost regardless of where the RPI ends up, will not be a national seed. That just seems impossible. Georgia is an interesting case, though, because certainly you're not used to seeing the team leading the SEC this late in the season have an RPI of 19.
On the ground left side, backhanded. Randall, long throw trying to get Colby Branch. Not going to get it there in time. Branch runs well. It's a leadoff single for the 8-hole hitter, Colby Branch, who's now 2 for 2 in the ballgame.
Yeah, Branch hit all those balls hard yesterday. Some of them caught. It's just a ground ball hitting the right spot. Really difficult play for Randall. You're going so hard away from first base. Just impossible to get the momentum stopped quickly enough to make a throw in time.
28 hits across the 2 games yesterday for Georgia. They've got 7 so far today. I think it's easy to see why this Georgia team leading the conference in batting average. There's a swing and a miss from Ryan Black batting in the 9-hole. He was hit by a pitch his first time up. Eight players, everyday players for Georgia, hitting 300 or better this season. Daniel Jackson came into today's ball game hitting 383, leading hitter not only on Georgia's team but in the conference. 0-1, ground ball to Furness. He'll go to second first to get the lead runner. The return throw in time, a 3-6-3 double play executed perfectly by the Ole Miss defense.
Yeah, that is a hard double play to turn, and Ole Miss couldn't have done it any better than that. Furness, a lot of times you see the first baseman go back and touch first right there and then try to get the tag at second. Furness with the perfect throw to Randall, and that's the most important part of this play. Got to make this first good throw. You can see right on the numbers. That's a good double play for Ole Miss.
Races Branch from his leadoff single, and now we go back to the top of the order. And Trey Phelps, 0 for 2 with a fly out and a ground out. Phelps 4 for 13 on the weekend, and he hits a humpback line drive to Pano at third base, who squeezes it. A little easier 4th inning for Taylor Rabe. Georgia in front, 2-1. Look at the RPI for SEC teams right now. You see Texas, Bama, Texas A&M, and Auburn, and Ole Miss all in the top 10. Then you get Florida at 13, Mississippi State at 16. So the Bulldogs moving up a little bit after a couple of wins this weekend. Georgia currently 9th best RPI in the SEC at 19. 15 of the 16 teams, not just in the top 100, but the top 81. Tennessee and Arkansas there at 29 and 30. Tennessee winning the national title 2 years ago. They had a big bounce back after a tough loss on Thursday night. Played a doubleheader on Friday to avoid some weather issues that they were concerned about yesterday. Tennessee outscored Alabama 21-4 in the final 2 games of that series, 10-0 and then 11-4. Topher Jones quickly behind in the count, no balls and 2 strikes.
And if you're Kentucky, that 39, that's where you start to worry a bit. SEC teams need to be really kind of that 30 and up, just historically speaking.
That one misses down and away for ball 1 to Topher Jones. Several deciding games in the SEC happening this afternoon, including in Nashville, where number 4 Texas and Vanderbilt are tied 3-3 in the 8th inning.
Yeah, it's a big series for Vandy. They got some work to do. It would certainly be a good start. Don't think Texas has lost a series, have they, this year in the conference?
Lost 2 games to none to A&M.
That is correct.
Didn't play the 3rd game of that series in College Station.
They tried, though. They waited like 12 hours to try and play that one. Didn't get it in on Sunday, I believe.
Just screws up the standings so much.
It does.
Feels like,
especially when it's 2 schools that close together.
I was going to say, I mean,
go play Monday.
This one hit high into the air out into center field. Lujo waits for a while for that one to come down. Topher Jones flies out to start the inning. That is 6 in a row retired by, 7 in a row retired by Aoki.
You said it last inning. Georgia had to be pleased Aoki getting through 3. Obviously, he's out there for his 4th. I think all this just bonus outs that he's able to eat up for Georgia.
He's thrown 64 pitches after the back-to-back singles to start the 2nd inning. Back-to-back strikeouts and a line out, a strikeout to start the 3rd. And then he got fly out, line out, fly out from Topher Jones. Owen Pano had that hit. You see the current standings. Georgia a game in front of Texas A&M. A&M and Florida playing. This one off the end of the bat out into center field. A 2-hit game for Owen Pano. And that snaps the string of 7 in a row retired by Caden Aoki.
Don't usually want topspin when you hit a baseball, but when you hit one like that, that topspin work well. Gets down in front of the center fielder, Lujo. Pano just making it impossible to keep him out of this lineup.
A&M leading Florida 4-1 in Gainesville, the deciding game of that series. Florida got game 1, Texas with a split yesterday. For the 3rd day in a row, LSU has a lead over Mississippi State. Last night, the Bulldogs erased a 7-2 deficit to come back and get the win. Quite a scene at Dudy Noble last night. Mississippi State with their Super Bulldog weekend. Freshman Jacob Parker that we saw here in Oxford a few weeks ago with a
hitter.
Big grand slam.
Set off quite a scene in Starkville. 8th inning maybe, 7-3. Hit the grand slam, 7th or 8th. Tied it up. State came all the way back to win.
This ball out into center field. Lujo Makes the catch, and there are 2 down. Braden Randall is retired, which, given his weekend, is a big out for Aoki.
Randall has been a hard out for Georgia.
Oklahoma beat Auburn 2-1 yesterday, low-scoring game. It's 2-1 through 2 today with the Sooners in front of the Auburn Tigers. Kentucky trying to salvage one in Columbia, South Carolina. The Wildcats lead at 4-0 over the Gamecocks in the bottom of the third. 2-1 our score here in Oxford. Ole Miss batting with 2 down in the inning and a runner at first. Colin Reuter at the plate, and he takes strike 1. Reuter went down on strikes. Aoki may have gotten a little bit of an extension there on strike 1 to Reuter. Runner goes, ball on the ground to short. Branch with a little bit of a bobble, but plenty of time to throw out Reuter. And Ole Miss strands another runner. 4 left on base for Ole Miss through 4.
Best conference tournament all of college baseball.
Run straight for the breakaway.
Let's get to Hoover. 16 teams, single elimination. It all gets started on the 19th at the Hoover Met. Second year that you've had that single elimination format. Finish in the top 4, you get the double bye. I think I realized until yesterday looking at that it's been Tennessee or Vandy that has won the last 4 SEC tournament championships. Ole Miss advancing to the semifinals last year. Finals?
I think it was finals.
That's right.
Didn't they beat LSU?
Beat LSU 2-0 in the semis and advanced to the finals. That's right.
It was kind of Cade Townsend's coming out party against LSU in the semis.
Daniel Jackson going to lead things off for Georgia.
It was a big tournament for Ole Miss last year, getting themselves into that host picture.
Alongside Keith Kessinger, Richard Cross with you on this Sunday afternoon. Game 3 in Oxford. Daniel Jackson with a solo home run to straightaway center field in the 3rd inning. That's the difference in this game right now. Georgia in front 2-1. Exactly like everybody thought this game was going to go. Low scoring. Ball on a strike to Daniel Jackson on the 60th pitch of the game for Taylor Rabe. Rabe gave up 3 hits in the 2nd and the 3rd, but held Georgia to single runs in each of those innings, and now he's ahead of scary Daniel Jackson. 21 home runs, 61 runs batted in on the year. That one just missed. Right at the top of the strike zone. Jackson laid off. 2-2. There's a three-quarter swing strikeout. And the first out of the inning. Always a big out when you can retire Daniel Jackson.
Yeah, this might be the best slider of the day for Rabe. You can see there's some real depth on that one. Sometimes the ball spins a little bit on him, doesn't get that depth. That ball is in the zone a long way, and then the bottom drops out. Even a good hitter like Jackson unable to stop his swing.
Fourth strikeout of the game for Taylor Rabe. That brings Rylan Lujo to the plate. Lujo had a couple of hits in game one yesterday, a two-run home run in the fifth inning. 4 hits on the weekend for Rylan Lujo, 0 for 2 in today's ball game. One of the things that stood out yesterday for Georgia, especially in the night game, was the number of two-out hits that they had. Finished the game with 11 two-out hits. .9 of their 13 hits had come with 2 outs in the ball game, or in an inning.
And those just win you games. I mean, there's just no doubt. They create momentum for you. They are so demoralizing for your opponent.
This one out into left center field, and that's going to one-hop the wall. It's grabbed by Utermark, and that is a 2-strike double with 1 out for Rylan Lujo. Leading hitter in SEC play for Georgia. Hitting better than 400 in conference games.
Yeah, fastball gets a lot of the plate right there, but it's up. Lujo quick enough at 97 miles an hour. Gets that one out at 104. It was a rocket to left center field.
Third extra base hit of the game for Georgia. Double by Henry Allen in the second, the home run in the third from Daniel Jackson. Now the 1-out double from Lujo here in the fifth. The first pitch to Michael O'Shaughnessy in there for strike. O'Shaughnessy, the senior from Del Mar, New York. Davidson transfer. A good pitch there from Taylor Rabe. O'Shaughnessy behind in the count, no balls and 2 strikes. Chopper to first, fielded by Furness. Rabe covering. Second out of the inning. Lujo goes to third. Now Callaway will come to the plate for Georgia. Played for Dax Norris at UNO last year and was an All-American, one of the top two-way players in the country. He led UNO in home runs, runs batted in, and batting average last season. 18 home runs, 63 runs batted in, and he hit .390. Plus a 2-2 record on the mound with an ERA just over 4 with 11 saves. Say he earned his keep on that privateer team a year ago.
I'm sure they weren't surprised when he got in the portal, but they certainly had to be disappointed when he got in the portal.
He was a finalist for the Olerud Award last year, the nation's
Top
two-way player.
And you don't just replace that kind of production at UNO.
2-0 to Callaway, and this one is foul down the third baseline. Payno dove for it behind the bag and was able to come up with it cleanly, but wide of the bag. A fastball there that Callaway was able to turn on. Velocity stayed pretty consistent for Taylor Rabe. He's 75 pitches in and still sitting 96, 97 with the fastball. Starting to see some light tossing in the Ole Miss bullpen. Well, he dots the outside corner there. What a good fastball to even the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, if you're Callaway, you've gotten yourself ahead in the count. You get the 2-0 fastball, then you get the 2-1 fastball. But, I mean, it's painted. Certainly not the pitch you're looking for.
Rabe trying to get out of the inning with no damage. Lujo at third. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 out for Callaway. Swing and a miss. Fastball at 97. He went 3 straight fastballs to get out of the inning.
Yeah, and this one on the outside corner. Again, another 97. Callaway can't catch up to it. And Ole Miss going to go to the bat. Down 1.
I cannot help my fixation.
The real fun just getting started.
Run straight for the breakaway.
The celebration is on.
June 12th, when the College World Series begins in Omaha. You see the current top 10. UCLA has gone wire to wire. Well, I guess if you had a wire at the 10-week mark.
I like their chances to go wire to regular season wire. What are they,
Number 1 team in the
39
country.
and 3, I think, going into today.
That is correct. North Carolina playing good baseball. Georgia Tech. That's Big Ten, ACC for the top 3 before you get to Texas and this Georgia Bulldogs team.
Do you know how hard it is to go 39 and 3 no matter who you're playing?
What would UCLA's record be if they were playing in the SEC?
Not 39 and 3, but I do.
They're pretty good.
But yes, I wouldn't be at all surprised if they weren't leading the SEC. I think they're a loaded baseball team. They got Mississippi State earlier in the season. Brian O'Connor was telling us how impressed he was with that baseball team when they faced the Bruins.
Last time somebody other than an SEC team won the national championship, 2018. That was Oregon State. The infamous foul ball that wasn't caught by Arkansas. 2020. Obviously no postseason. Mississippi State beating Vanderbilt in 2021. Of course, 2022, it was Ole Miss over Oklahoma before Oklahoma was part of the SEC. LSU over Florida in 2023. Tennessee got their first ever national title, a 60-win season in 2024. They beat Texas A&M. Strike 3 called. Foley goes away looking. That one at the bottom of the zone. Fans didn't like it. Take another look.
Yeah, good 12-6 breaking ball, and so when the catcher catches it, it's going to seem low. But again, it looks like that ball crosses the knees. Aoki just continues to eat up outs. I mean, outs throwing up zeros.
Is that sinking curveball the hardest pitch for an umpire?
It's why so many guys, I think, have gone to throwing sliders, because umpires just have a hard time staying with it because it just looks low when it's caught because there's so much downward action.
4 strikeouts for Aoki. You see Eddie Newsom, been around the SEC for a long time. He's the crew chief this weekend. That one fouled off by Dom Decker behind the count, of ball and 2 strikes. Aoki closing in on 80 pitches. Just very little stress in his delivery. And Ole Miss hasn't put much stress on him either. Rebels have scattered 4 singles in the game.
And he had the 2 walks in the first inning, but since then he's been a strike-throwing machine, which is what we expect out of Aoki when you look at his numbers. Again, you mix pitches, you throw strikes, you work in and out, you work up and down. Defense plays good behind you, you can get some outs.
That one just missed inside. Dom Decker turned in. Full count now to Dom Decker. 1 out, Ole Miss, bottom of the 5th inning, trailing by a run, 2-1 to Georgia. Decker gets a piece of that one to stay alive. That was just a fastball down in the zone. Decker on the ground to second. Fielded there by Wynn. Over to O'Shaughnessy, and there are 2 down. So Aoki had the stretch of, 7 in a row retired. Then he gave up the single to Owen Pano. But after that, he's retired 4 in a row. And will face Tristan Becerra, who's got an infield single and a strikeout. Aoki has given up 6 home runs this year, but prior to yesterday, it only allowed 3. Gave up 3 solo home runs in yesterday's game as Ole Miss was mounting a comeback in the first game of the day. Becerra fouls this one off. Solo home run to Dom Decker in the 7th, and then back-to-back home runs for Furness and Federico to start the 8th inning. We went to Justin Bird at the end of that game, and he gave up the 3-run homer to Dom Decker that ended up being the difference in the 10-8 win, comeback victory for Ole Miss. Set able to get the bat to the curveball there to stay alive. You watched Tristan Becerra at the plate last week, and everything looked easy. You watched him this weekend, and everything looked hard.
Yeah, it's the frustrating part about baseball. It's the same guy doing the same things at the plate, and just sometimes you just can't quite figure it out. A lot of hook in the baseball this weekend. He got off to that incredible start. Then went on something like a 1 for 30. And then the last couple of weeks has been fantastic again. And obviously this weekend it's been a bit of a struggle.
It's this one on the ground right side, and that's kind of been what it's looked like for Becerra. Rolls it to second base, and Ole Miss goes 1-2-3 in the fifth. 2-1 through 5 in Oxford. This week 7 of conference play. You see Georgia has won 4 of their 6 game 3s this year, averaging 11 runs per game. Now that is a number that was helped by game 3 last weekend in Fayetteville.
4 touchdowns will help you, 26 in one outing.
A couple of missed extra points in there, but just looking for a new kicker. Ole Miss has split their game 3s this year, hitting .270 and averaging 5 runs per game in the final game of the series. We got a tight one today, 2-1. Georgia in front of Ole Miss as we go to the top of the 6th inning. Alongside Keith Kessinger, Richard Cross, glad to be with you on this Sunday afternoon in Oxford. Off the end of the bat, just a nubber back to the mound. I think Rabe could have jogged all the way to first base and stepped on the bag himself if he had wanted to. He gets Henry Allen out to start the inning. Remaining series for Ole Miss. Rebels will go to Arkansas, host Texas A&M, and then go to Alabama.
Nothing easy about those 9. Arkansas won 2 out of 3 at Missouri this weekend. Missouri was able to get the final game yesterday. Kind of feel like you're giving one back to the league right now when Missouri gets one against you.
Missouri's 4th win. See the SEC schedule for Ole Miss by all metrics that you can possibly look at. Not only the most difficult schedule in the SEC, probably the most difficult schedule in the country when it's all said and done for this Ole Miss team. Had the series win against Kentucky and Florida. Chopper left side, Randall coming forward, scoops, throws, and a scoop at first base for Furness. Put an asterisk next to that one. Big time play on both ends.
Yeah, that was unbelievable by both guys. I mean, you called that. I mean, Randall's got to come get this, and he does, but he still gets an in-between hop. Has to throw it on the run, and goodness, that is almost an impossible pick for Furness. Randall does get that a little bit shorter maybe than I thought on that first hop, but look at this one. It's just a great play by Furness at first base. Looks like Georgia is going to ask for a review on this.
Georgia is challenging the call at first base of out.
Why? I mean, I guess close enough, but that feels like a waste of a challenge.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't look all that close, right? You know, they thinking he's off. I mean, he's going to be out, but I mean, were they thinking he's off the base?
There was no bobble in the glove.
Yeah, I mean that's half a step. That one won't take Birmingham long.
After review, the runner is out at first base. Georgia has one challenge remaining.
And so both teams with one challenge remaining. Pair of unsuccessful challenges in this game, one by Ole Miss, one by Georgia. Just talking about those remaining series for Ole Miss. Arkansas has been, it doesn't feel like a vintage Dave Van Horn team, and I think it's probably been because of kind of some inconsistency on the mound. Your point about losing one to Missouri feels like almost a two-game mark against you. Missouri, 4 SEC wins. They've got one win against Kentucky, one against Arkansas, and they got 2 from Tennessee.
I thought it was 2 against Kentucky. I thought it was 2 against Kentucky, 1 against Tennessee.
Maybe you're right.
Happy for Carrick Jackson. That's a hard job at Missouri, and certainly he's doing his best to try to figure out ways to win, but I'm sure Arkansas was disappointed not getting that 3rd win. That'd be a tough weekend to play, though. That's never an easy place to play, Baum Stadium. I like the Razorback baseball team there.
Swing and a miss. Colby Branch goes down on strikes. That is 5 in a row retired by Taylor Rabe. Still a 2-1 game as we go to the bottom of the 6th. Two runs, 8 hits for Georgia, 1 run, 4 hits for Ole Miss. It has been a well-played weekend defensively. Well, let's just be honest, a lower-scoring game today than I think anybody would have anticipated. But here we sit, 2-1, going to the bottom of the 6th inning. You never know what those final 3 innings on a Sunday in conference play are going to bring.
No, but when 2 teams have played 23 innings the day before and scored, and you come on a warm day, again, not much help with the wind today, but I did not anticipate 2-1 here in the bottom of the 6th, but that is where we are. Raves had to pitch out of some trouble, some traffic. Honestly, Aoki's, since the 2nd inning, has been cruising.
Just 4 hits allowed, 4 singles. There was a loud out by this guy, Judd Utermark, in his last at-bat. Hit a high fly ball to the wall in right center field. Lujo was able to track it down and make the catch against the wall in the deepest part of the right center field alley. Judd Utermark 0 for 2. Grounded into a double play and is flown out. Georgia shifted against Utermark, the 0-1. A 3-pitch strikeout by Aoki. 5th strikeout of the day by the Georgia Bulldogs starter.
And just the curveball starts on the outside edge, ends up well off the plate. As we've talked about before, hitters with 2 strikes, the longer that ball's in the strike zone, the harder it is to lay off. So you start it in the zone, breaks out, Udemark swings over the top of it.
And again, Caden Aoki pitching on 0 days rest. Pitched in game 1 yesterday, had 36 pitches in that ball game. He gave up 3 solo home runs, 4 hits total. Through 90 pitches and 5 1/3 today, he has scattered 4 singles. Will Furness 0 for 1 with a walk.
Yeah, since the first 2 hitters got on back in the second inning, he has been in complete and total control of this Ole Miss offense.
I think the difference today for Aoki and yesterday has been mistake pitches. Ole Miss took advantage of pitches that were out over the plate and did damage.
And we talked about earlier, sometimes the guys like Aoki, they're more feel pitchers. Sometimes they're better that second time out. They're used to the mound. Again, the velocity's not really part of his game. So being tired or being able to throw as hard just doesn't matter as much. And Ole Miss did have some chances early with some mistake pitches and just didn't take advantage. And since then, Aoki has been in total control.
There's a strike to Furness. Snuck a fastball over there. This is the second most pitches of the season for Caden Aoki. He threw 103 in a win last week against Arkansas. Strike 3 called. Curveball at the bottom of the zone. Got the corner.
And he's got that big 12 to 6er. There's so much depth on that. It's almost straight down. You can see crosses over that front knee. Furness does not like it, but I believe that call was correct by Eddie Newsom.
Umpires probably would not like it, but if you let fans see the TrackMan readings,
you'd be surprised how often they get it right. Fans would be.
Obviously this year with the review system in Major League Baseball, ABS, fans are getting that look, and you're getting calls overturned, but you're also getting some calls that are upheld. Big league umpires. And despite some thoughts to the contrary, the world has not come to an end by correcting missed calls. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 down in the inning. Topher Jones behind in the count. Strike 3 called. How about striking out the side for Aoki in the bottom of the 6th inning on the 2nd consecutive day in which he has pitched? Daniel Jackson's solo home run in the top of the third inning is the difference in this game. Georgia in front of Ole Miss 2-1. The Rebels 4 singles. Caden Aoki has struck out 4 of the last 6 he faced, including 3 in a row in the bottom of the 6th inning for Ole Miss. Deciding game 3 of this weekend's series in Oxford after long day of baseball yesterday. Ole Miss trailed 8-0 in game 1. Came all the way back and won at 10-8. Georgia a winner in 14 innings in the nightcap last night. 9-7 the final in that one.
Yeah, all sorts of late inning dramatic plays yesterday by both teams.
Ryan Black in the 9-hole, and Trey Phelps and Daniel Jackson at the top of the order for Georgia here to start the 7th inning. It's 1-1 now to Ryan Black. Strike 2. Drop the slider in there. Taylor Rabe, 6 strikeouts in the game, 3 in the last 2 innings. This ball hit down the right field line. That's going to stay fair, and one hop the wall. Ryan Black going to motor towards second base. He's got a leadoff double for Georgia here in the top of the 7th. Able to slip that one inside the line down in the right field corner.
It's such a good piece of hitting. This is a fastball just off the inside part of the plate and get the hands in enough to be able to keep that fair. It's one thing to be able to get the barrel to it, but you got to get your hands in to be able to keep from pulling that ball foul. That was well done by Black. Georgia trying to get some add-on runs here as Mike Bianco heads toward the mound.
Runner at second, nobody out, top of the 7th inning, and Mike Bianco raises his left arm, calling for the left-hander out of the bullpen, and Rebels going to Walker Hooks. Taylor Rabe, 6 innings, 2 earned runs. The runner on second belongs to him. 6 strikeouts and no walks. Pretty good outing today from Ole Miss starter, the right-hander Taylor Rabe. We'll tell you a little bit more about Walker Hooks when we come back. Taylor Rabe's day is done. 6 innings of work. He gave up a solo home run to Daniel Jackson in the top of the 3rd inning. That's the difference in the ball game. What'd you make of Rabe today?
Yeah, I thought it was really good. I mean, this is an outstanding Georgia lineup. He's leaving the field having given up 2 runs through 6+ innings. Obviously, the man on second is his, but the slider, he was able to get it in the zone today, so he didn't become one-dimensional. Even though that one-dimensional is good, it's 96-97 fastball. With 6 strikeouts, no walks, he scattered 9 hits. It wasn't like it was no traffic on the bases for Georgia, but he certainly eliminated the big innings today.
Got out of a bases-loaded jam in the 2nd inning. After the home run, he gave up a couple of hits. Didn't allow anything else in the 3rd. Leadoff double by Ryan Black into the right field corner, and Mike Bianco said time to go to the bullpen, and Walker Hooks makes his 17th appearance of the year, his second of the weekend, and he has been absolutely lights out.
Yeah, over the last, 3 or 4 weeks, he's really become Ole Miss's closer. He's the guy that's getting those last outs of the game. Obviously today, he's going to have to get a lot more outs if he's going to finish this one out for Ole Miss. But
yeah, no chance for a save in this one for Walker Hooks.
Fastball does not going to blow you away. Fastball's 90-ish, maybe a little bit better. Change up to right-handed hitters is a really good pitch for Walker Hooks.
Walker Hooks, 2 saves last weekend. He got one in game 1 yesterday. So 5 saves and 3 wins in his last 10 appearances. Dealing with the top of the order now for Georgia, Trey Phelps, Daniel Jackson, Rylan Lujo after the leadoff double by Ryan Black. Phelps hit the solo home run in the top of the 14th inning last night. It was one of those balls that you knew it was gone at contact. Put a great swing on it, pitch out over the plate, and he had a line drive home run out to left center field. Fouls it back, 1 ball, 1 strike. Will Coggin works primarily with the offense for Georgia. I was talking with him before the ball game. He's been with Wes Johnson at Georgia the entire time. He said with Trey Phelps, he said, it had been a while since he had hit a home run, but his hands are just so good. And you watch him in the box, a little bit different looking batting stance. He kind of starts the hands right there around the midsection. That one runs in and gets him on the leg. And he goes down crumpling in pain. Way inside on Phelps.
Sometimes as a hitter, you're not expecting the ball to hit you. I mean, even as it's coming into the plate. That's what it looked like right there with Phelps. That slider got him, I think, on the back knee. But his reaction was basically shocked that he got hit by it.
Catch the kneecap.
Yeah, looks like that back knee. Yeah, right, maybe right above the knee. I think he thought it was going to miss him, just watching his reaction. Hopefully he'll be all right. Looks like he is doing just fine over there at first base. And now Georgia's got something going. A couple of guys on, nobody out here in the 7th.
Second hit batter of the game. Rabe hit 1, and now Hooks hits the first man that he faces. So first 2 pitches for Hooks in relief, missing out of the zone, hitting Phelps, and now outside for ball 1 to Daniel Jackson.
Georgia has 1 sacrifice bunt on the season. Not that Jackson would even consider it. But certainly not part of Georgia's game, although
it was yesterday.
Furness at first base is playing in as if Ole Miss anticipates potentially a bunt. You see a good shot.
I would be shocked. There's
Yeah,
a strike.
I mean, it's a team that doesn't bunt and a guy that you certainly wouldn't want to bunt. So, yeah, it didn't make much sense. Furness is still in, though.
Big swing and a miss there for strike 2. Changeup you're talking about?
Yeah, could be. I'm not, possibly. I'm not really sure because so far today that fastball's just been at mid to up mid, kind of mid 80s.
Check swing, called strike 3. That fastball had a little more juice on it.
That's a big out right there. Obviously,
Big out.
anytime you get Jackson, but first and second, nobody out. And after a couple of change-ups like you called it, goes back to the fastball and just completely freezes Jackson right there.
I don't know if I'd say I called it. I was leaning on you heavily for
Yeah,
confirmation.
You did, but you were correct.
One down in the inning, certainly not out of the woods yet. Rylan Luho. Runners go and no throw. A double steal with Black and Phelps on the bases. Great speed, and they both are now in scoring position.
Yeah, Black got a huge jump at second base. He was hopping off, and he realized, hey, I'm going to be able to get this one easily. Continues on to third base, and it's certainly a big couple of bases right there for Georgia. Ground ball now scores a run.
Pitch missed for ball one to Luho. 1 for 3. It cues this one over toward the Ole Miss dugout.
A good look at that jump at second base. And you can see there's just really no chance for Reuter. Certainly can't throw that ball to third. Black was going to make that easily. No reason at all to take the risk on the throw.
Luho had the double in the 5th inning. Grounded out in the 1st, struck out in the 3rd. Up and away for ball 2. 2 balls and a strike now to Rylan Luho. Came into today's ball game hitting .406 in 17 SEC games. On time, but just missed that one. Fouls it straight back. O'Shaughnessy waits on deck. Second and third, one down, a 2-1 game. Georgia in front, out into center field. Utermark moving toward the right center field gap. He will make the throw to third base. Had no chance to get the runner at home, and that's a heads-up play, keeping Phelps at second base.
Yeah, that's where that double steal comes into play. Obviously, Georgia's not scoring right here if it's first and second. Utermark makes the heads-up play, as you said, throwing that ball to third. And Georgia does get an add-on run here.
So now 3-1, and Luho picks up his 29th RBI of the year. So here's the part where Walker hooks. Find a way to get out of the inning and not allow any more. Phelps goes back in easily. O'Shaughnessy 1 for 3 of the game today. A strikeout in the 2nd inning. He singled in the 3rd. Grounded out in the 5th. Tom Decker playing out in shallow right field, and Braden Randall, the shortstop, on the second base side of the bag. Swing and a miss for a strike to O'Shaughnessy. Oh, 2.
A couple sliders in a row to O'Shaughnessy.
Last year at Davidson, he hit .369 with 19 doubles and 70 runs batted in. Behind in the count here, no balls and 2 strikes. The 0-2. Swing and a miss. Hooks with the strikeout. Georgia adds a run. It is time to stretch. Dogs in front of the Rebels, 3-1 at Swayze. Caden Aoki, a masterful performance today for Georgia. 6 innings of 4-hit baseball, gave up 4 singles, struck out 7. Curveball was especially good.
Yeah, just a great mix. I mean, he was able to throw some changeups, but again, that 12-6 curveball made that upper 80s fastball look really good. I cannot imagine Georgia could be any happier with 6 innings out of Aoki.
Now they turn it over to Kenny Ishikawa. Ishikawa played in the outfield yesterday. 2-way player making his 9th appearance of the year. Obviously the numbers look out of whack. He was hit by a pitch as a hitter on the foot early in the year, first couple of weeks, and it really affected him. Georgia coaches telling us that in some of their spring scrimmages leading in, he was basically unhittable by this quite talented Georgia offense. So we'll see what Ishikawa brings to the mound after really good work by Caden Aoki.
The scouting report shows fastball's going to be low to mid-90s from Ishikawa. Slider at times has been a good pitch for him.
Ishikawa, born and spent his early years in Hawaii. His mother is Hawaiian. Then moved to Japan. Played high school baseball and had a year of Japanese college baseball that did not count against his eligibility in the United States. Drops in a strike to Owen Pano, who's got a pair of hits, 2 singles. That's half of Ole Miss's hits in the ball game. Pano rounds this one foul. And is behind in the count, of ball and 2 strikes. Ishikawa's got a decision to make after this season. Was actually drafted by a Japanese ball club, and so could begin his professional career in Japan after this season if he so chooses. And he gets a strikeout of Owen Pano, first batter that he faces. Number 21, Florida, and number 14, Oklahoma play the second game of their big 3-game series next Saturday in Norman. It's coming for you here on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern, 6 o'clock Central Time. That is next Saturday night. Sooners and the Gators. First pitch to Braden Randall, misses inside. 4 strikeouts in a row. 3 straight for Aoki to get through the 6th inning. And now Ishikawa to start the 7th. Two 2-0 to Braden Randall. Now 3-0 to Randall. Braden Randall 1 for 2 today. He's got 5 hits on the weekend. And it's now a 4-pitch walk to Randall. So he gets Pano on strikes and then issues the walk to Braden Randall to bring Colin Reuter to the plate.
And that's certainly been one of the issues with Ishikawa. When you look at the numbers, 13 walks in 13 innings, and that's going to do it for him. Wes Johnson on his way out. He was in there to face the 2 left-handed hitters.
He got one, he missed on the other, and now a right-hander coming in to face Colin Reuter. So after nothing from Wes Johnson for 6 innings of work, now getting that bullpen activated here in the bottom of the 7th. Ole Miss runner on first and 1 down. We'll take a timeout. Zach Brown was the Game 1 starter yesterday, and he is now coming in out of the bullpen. Aoki was used in yesterday's Game 1. He started today, so a little bit a reversal. And obviously Georgia's pitching staff has been hampered by the absence of Dylan Vignew. Zach Brown making his 13th appearance of the year, a mix of starts and bullpen outings.
You like that strikeout to walk ratio. Obviously yesterday, what did he throw? 3 innings yesterday. Fastball in the low 90s, slider. Also threw a cutter and a changeup.
My apologies. Zach Brown started Game 2 yesterday, not the first game. It was Joey Volchko that threw Game 1. 3 innings of work yesterday for Zach Brown. Tonight, the Rally Cap crew will break down the SEC baseball and softball weekend with highlights, analysis, and interviews. They'll also get you set for the upcoming week with a look at the best matchups. Coverage tonight starts at 6 Eastern right here on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. 50 pitches yesterday for Zach Brown in 3 innings of work. He gave up 4 hits, 3 earned runs, walked a batter, and struck out a batter.
Well, this weekend started out with some bad weather on Friday. Couldn't get that game in. That was a game that did not need to be tried to play it on Friday night, and it was not. But, boy, the weather's been fantastic yesterday and today.
Mm-hmm. Did you make it to the Square for Double Decker yesterday?
Did not make it there yesterday for any of the concerts or the actual Double Decker festival.
You didn't need any new art?
Did not. My wife made it, though. We probably have new
You might
art,
have
too.
gotten some new art.
It's almost a positive that we do.
Braden Randall over at first base after the walk. So Ishikawa faced 2 hitters, a strikeout and a walk. And now Colin Reuter facing off against Zach Brown. And Reuter fouls that one off his foot, rolls all the way down to Phelps at third base. Phelps, who was hit by a pitch, perhaps thinking, I feel your pain. Maybe not. Convinced that Trey Phelps just has ice water running through his face. Like zero reaction to anything.
He is a cool customer.
No balls and a strike to Colin Reuter. He'd love to find one of those doubles that seem to come easy in the first month of the season. And he swings and misses out in front of the breaking ball. Austin Foley waits on deck. Ole Miss has certainly lived and died by the home run this weekend. The runner on first, one swing of the bat would change this game dramatically. That one in the dirt, going to roll a little bit away from Jackson and will allow Braden Randall to get into scoring position. So a wild pitch there by Zach Brown. That's the first time, wow, since the second inning that Ole Miss has had a runner make it to second base.
Yeah. Oh, Aoki was just cruising.
Yeah. Ball and 2 strikes to Reuter. And he goes down swinging. Second out of the inning. And well, it's a challenge right now offensively for Reuter.
Yeah, another breaking ball. This one's a good one. Down and away, and Reuter chases one that is off the plate. That is a perfect pitcher's pitch with 2 strikes. Mike Yanko wants to have a word with Austin Foley before this at bat. Actually, he is going to pinch it Hayden Federico for Austin Foley. We were told Federico would be available to pinch hit, and obviously that's what's happening right now.
And he pinch hits him in the DH spot in the order, so perhaps could see multiple at-bats, assuming that Federico is able to stay in to run if he were to reach safely.
Yeah, I think you're just trying to save this bullet for a time that the man was in scoring position, and certainly there is a runner in scoring position with 2 outs. Federico's Ole Miss's leading hitter in SEC games. Ole Miss trying to see if they can cut into this 2-run deficit.
23 hits and 65 conference at bats for a .354 average for Hayden Federico. 2 down in the inning, and Federico takes ball 1. Had a couple of different things that looked like he was uncomfortable last night. A couple of awkward swings where he kind of grabbed at his lower back and then seemed to either some cramping or some discomfort. Leg, running it down to first base.
I think we were told late it was a quad issue, right? Isn't that what the latest was?
Yeah, I believe that was the official diagnosis that we got. Quad is bothering Hayden Federico. He's ahead of the count, 2 balls and no strikes.
He is a gamer. Something was bothering him. He would have been in the lineup.
He looks at ball 3. So Hayden Federico pinch hitting in the 9 hole for Austin Foley, who was 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts. Braden Randall walked and got to second on a wild pitch. That was between a pair of strikeouts in the inning. One from Ishikawa, one from Brown. The 3-0, 90-mile-an-hour fastball for a strike. Month of April has been very good to Hayden Federico. Goes after this pitch and fouls it off.
He swung the bat that time like the leg was bothering him. See him kind of hop around as he right when he on the follow through. It did not look normal for Federico. Here's after that swing last time. See him just flexing that left leg.
18 hits in the month of April for Federico. Hits it on the ground to the second baseman. Wynn kind of waded back on it, and stabbed at it, but was able to field it cleanly and throw over. And Federico, he is retired to end the inning. Georgia trying to win a series in Oxford for the first time in 15 years. Ole Miss looking for that first top 5 series victory in a couple of seasons. Alongside Keith Kessner, Richard Cross, we go to the 8th inning, a 2-run ball game. Georgia in front of Ole Miss 3-1. Middle of the order, Bryce Callaway, Henry Allen, and Ryan Wynn facing Walker Hooks. Ole Miss pinch hit with Hayden Federico at the bottom of the order, and after he hit that ground ball to second base, it was abundantly clear that Federico's struggling to run right now. Slowly walked back to the dugout after being thrown out to the end of the inning.
He never made it to first base, and that was a struggle just watching him try to get to first base.
This one bounced down in front of home plate. Callaway watched it go by. The count evens at a ball and a strike.
That would be a big loss if Federico is out for any period of time from this Ole Miss team.
Walker Hooks replaced Taylor Rabe. Rabe gave up the leadoff double in the 7th inning. Hooks hit the first batter he faced and got a strikeout, a sac fly, and another strikeout. 3-1, Georgia in front of Ole Miss, trying to take the series from the Rebels in Oxford. There's a swing and a miss. Callaway goes down swinging, and he's got something to say to the umpire, and maybe is fortunate to remain in the game.
He did not like strike 2 at all. Thought it was off the plate. Swung at a change-up down, and certainly wanted to get a few words in before he ended up back in the dugout.
Eddie Newsom basically looked at Wes Johnson and said, "Get your guy."
He did. He pointed at him.
I heard an Ole Miss fan after that strike 2 call. I don't know if you heard it in crowd mic or not. Said to Callaway, "Hey, we know how you feel.
We feel your pain."
Or we feel your pain. Three strikeouts for Walker Hooks. It's coming into the game. Ole Miss pretty anemic day offensively. Going to see if they could manufacture something with 6 outs remaining, but got to try and keep this Georgia offense at bay in the meantime.
Well, this has certainly shown in this series some late inning offensive heroics. But as you said, got to keep Georgia within striking distance. Certainly Georgia wanting to add on here in the 8th.
2-2 after that swing and miss from Henry Allen.
And changeup is just such a good pitch against right-handed hitters with Hooks. That arm speed looks exactly the same as fastball. Hitter's just not able to identify soon enough.
Two on the ground left side, fielded by Pano at third. A little awkward there, but Furness able to keep a foot on the bag for the second out of the inning.
Yeah, that's the throw first baseman's dread the most, right? The one that takes you back into the runner. Furness was glad that ball got there well before the runner. That one wasn't close enough to make a collision.
Texas A&M wins a series on the road against Florida to move to 13-6 in conference play. 5-1 the final today. Florida is now 11-9. Texas, a 4-3 victory today over Vanderbilt to take 2 of 3 in Nashville from the Commodores. Longhorns move to 12-7. South Carolina was trailing. They now lead Kentucky 5-4 at home. Auburn down 2-1 early, but they have an 8-2 lead now over Oklahoma in the 6th inning, trying to win the series and pick up their 12th SEC win. Is Mississippi State going to do it again? They were down, and they are now up 9-8 over LSU in Starkville.
The LSU team has lost 8 conference games in a row, trying to avoid a record for them, right? 9 would be an all-time record SEC losing streak.
8 ties the school record for consecutive SEC losses. So a loss today would be a new record that nobody would be proud of. Out into the air. Judd Utermark moving toward left center, makes the catch, and Georgia goes 1-2-3 in the 8th. Rebels down 2 as we go to the bottom half of inning number 8. Georgia with a 2-run lead over Ole Miss as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. 3 runs, 9 hits for the Dogs, a run and 4 hits for the Rebs. Neither team has had a defensive miscue in this one. Aoki, 1 earned run and 6 innings of work. Difference in the game, Jackson's solo home run, that made it 2-1, and then an insurance run for Georgia in the 7th inning. Sacrifice fly from Lujo made it 3-1. Top of the order for Ole Miss, Dom Decker, Tristan Becerra, and Judd Utermark to start the inning. 3 home runs leading to 5 runs in the 8th inning in Game 1 yesterday. Decker goes after the first pitch. Cardinals had 3 base runners in the 8th inning of the second game yesterday, but couldn't get anything out of that. Tom Decker 0 for 2 with a walk, and the only run of the game scored for Ole Miss. Scored on a ground out double play by Judd Utermark. Had a pair of home runs in the first game yesterday, including the 3-run homer in the 8th. Ahead in the count, 2-1. Zach Brown, the 3rd pitcher used by Georgia. Aoki, 6 innings. Kenny Ishikawa worked a 1/3 of an inning. Brown got a strikeout and a ground out to end the 7th. This one chopped right side, and the ball, what have you got? You got an out at first base, and it was Michael O'Shaughnessy able to pick it up and reach down and kind of stab at the bag in time to beat Decker by a step.
Yeah, I think he had to reach over Brown because Brown tries to catch it and touch the base. O'Shaughnessy's got to reach over, and he does. What a heads-up play. How about this? O'Shaughnessy's got to catch the ball, avoid his pitcher, and still touch the base. And I think he does get Decker at first base.
And now Wes Johnson out to make a pitching change. Feels like a lot of matchups. Right now they're getting a good chuckle out of that particular play.
Yeah, there's a lot of things you practice. That's not one of them. When you do pitcher's fielding practice or any kind of infield practice, you never practice, okay, we're going to tag the bag over the top of our pitcher. Never.
I guess fortunately Zach Brown was lying in front of the bag instead of on the bag. Inning of work for Zach Brown. 1 strikeout. Tell you about the new pitcher next. Paul Farley, the new pitcher in the game. He was the winner. Picked up his 5th victory of the season last night. 34 strikeouts in 33 1/3. But you see the hits and the walks, just really big numbers. And you look at the batting average against for Paul Farley, and wonder if Ole Miss might be able to get to him today in a way that they weren't able to last night. Opponents hitting .279 off of Farley this year.
Yeah, fastball, slider, cutter, fastball, low 90s. I think it's his 3rd appearance of the week. I think he started against Georgia Tech on Tuesday. Obviously threw last night, throwing again today.
So Caden Aoki lasted 6 innings as the starter. Then it was a short outing for Ishikawa. An inning of work for Brown, and now Farley. And this is up and away for ball 1 to Tristan Becerra. High chopper right side. And Wynn decides not to try a throw to first. That's a 2-hit game for Tristan Becerra with a pair of infield singles.
Both to Wynn. Remember, Wynn had to go to his right to get the first one on 2 hops. And this one just takes a really big second hop. Becerra could run well. And Wynn just doesn't think it's worth the play.
I wondered if there was anything in the transfer there. Maybe he didn't have a great grip on the ball to try and unload that
I thought so too, but watching live, I don't think he was going to get Becerra at first base regardless. But once he didn't maybe have a good grip, certainly didn't want to throw it at that point.
Here's Judd Utermark. Ole Miss fans trying to provide some encouragement. Utermark goes after the first pitch and fouls it off. You see the size and strength of Tristan Becerra and maybe underestimate how well he runs. Got down the line in a hurry. Able to take advantage of that big bouncing ball. This one in the dirt. Scooped up by Daniel Jackson. Ole Miss hit inside before the game today in the batting cages, and Georgia was out on the field, and I talked to a couple of their players, and I said, "You guys sleep well last night?" They just laughed and kind of talked about it. That was an interesting perspective. He said, you know, yesterday probably played out about how it was supposed to. That was 2 good games. Probably both deserved to win one of them.
You absolutely could make a case Ole Miss could have or should have won 2. You could clearly make a case Georgia could have or should have won 2. What you got was a split, and now a 3-1 game coming right down to the end again.
A little bit of breeze has picked up, and it's coming in from center field, and Utermark kind of expands his strike zone there and swinging a pitch that was off the plate.
It kind of fluctuates a little bit between blowing kind of towards that left field foul pole and straight in. Again, not much wind.
Beautiful day, the 2-2. Utermark pitch on the outside edge. Just got the cap of the bat on it. Foul it off and stay alive. Two home runs against Murray State on Tuesday night to get to 17 on the year and into a tie for second all-time at Ole Miss with 46 career home runs. He does not have a long ball this weekend. And he goes down on strikes there. Farley spun one up there.
Yeah, locates this breaking ball exactly where you want to with Utermark. You start it right on that outside corner, break it off the plate. Utermark certainly has a tendency at times to swing at that with 2 strikes. Does again. And Ole Miss's hottest hitter that is in the game healthy, Will Furness at the plate.
Wes Johnson asking for time and going to have a conversation with Paul Farley.
There is not a left-hander in the bullpen. That is actually 3 right-handers throwing in the Georgia bullpen.
I think one of them is Grant Edwards, the right-hander that we saw yesterday with the low sidearm delivery.
Farley going to remain in the game. There are the 3, Bird, Edwards, and Stevens.
I don't think we've seen Stevens this weekend. Bird and Edwards both pitched in yesterday's games.
And this is Farley's hitter.
Will Furnace hit one home run yesterday to straightaway center, pulled the other one to right. And he takes strike one. Pacetta with the infield single stands at first base. Just the 5th hit of the game for the Rebels. Will Furnace hit 3 home runs yesterday, including the game-tying 2-run shot in the bottom of the 9th of the 2nd game yesterday, turning a 7-5 game into a 7-7 game and setting the table for extra innings. Two balls and a strike to Will Furnace.
3 straight off speed to Furnace.
He has grown from a free-swinging pull hitter into a guy that has been willing to use the entire field. And he takes strike 2 there. Will Furnace has had a couple called today that he was not in agreement with the home plate umpire on. Two with 2 down. Georgia will now back up. 2 outs in the inning and a full count coming to Will Furnace. Rebels down 3-1, bottom of the 8th inning. Furnace represents the tying run. There goes Pacetta, and it hits Will Furnace, and he will head to first base. And that now brings what would be the go-ahead run to the plate in Topher Jones.
It's also going to bring Wes Johnson back out. And obviously this will be a pitching change. 2nd trip to the mound this inning with Farley on the mound.
Wes Johnson piecing things together. Almost looked like he was not overly disappointed with the result of that at bat with Will Furnace. Just wonder if when he went out to talk to him, if it was all about, hey, nothing out over the plate that he could drive out of the ballpark.
It certainly looked like that, watching the reaction right there of Wes Johnson. And what we saw break a ball down, break a ball down, break a ball down.
Paul Farley is done. Grant Edwards is in. We'll tell you about him next. Sixteenth appearance of the year for Grant Edwards. We saw him late in last night's ball game. The sidearm right-hander. ERA up over 6, 10 strikeouts, 6 walks in 12 2/3 innings.
So you're naturally going to get some arm side run when you're throwing from that arm angle, and you're going to get big sweep on the breaking ball. Fastball in the upper 80s with Edwards. And right-handers surprisingly hit better off of Edwards than left-handers do. Rarely see that with sidearm guys, but that's what the numbers say.
And they're pretty lopsided in favor of right-handers. Well over 300 and under 100 for left-handers. So Topher Jones, the right-handed batting left fielder for Ole Miss, goes after the first pitch and fouls it into the net. Took a pretty good swing there.
Attack that first pitch fastball.
Topher Jones 0 for 3, a fielder's choice, a fly out, and struck out looking. And he is hit by a pitch, and now Ole Miss has the bases loaded with Owen Pano coming to the plate. Tristan Becerra goes to third, Furness to second. Topher Jones will stand at first. Back-to-back hit batters by Georgia pitchers.
Just lost that fastball in, and Jones was not going to move. Just didn't move his feet. You don't have to try to get out of the way. Just can't take a body part towards the baseball. And obviously the best opportunity Ole Miss has had in quite some time.
Owen Pano 2 for 3. He's got 2 of the Rebels' 5 hits, both of them singles, but this is where that strange reverse split comes into play, with left-handers struggling against the right-handed sidearm pitcher. Wes Johnson headed to the mound again, taking a long look at the bullpen, and he makes the point toward the right field bullpen after a pitch in the at-bat.
Obviously did not like the way Pano swung at that one, or didn't like where Edwards threw it, or he needed a little more time for his arm in the bullpen to get ready.
So Grant Edwards hit Topher Jones, starts the at-bat with Pano, gets ahead 0-1, and is told you will now go sit in the dugout. And we will take a commercial break. 3-1, Georgia in front, Ole Miss with the bases loaded. Whatever pace we had going in this game, Wes Johnson has seen to it that has slowed, but they are trying to win a series on the road in the SEC. And he goes back to the bullpen after Grant Edwards hit a batter and then got a strike on Owen Pano. Justin Bird, the right-hander, will now pitch, making his 18th appearance of the year. Coming into the weekend, left-handed hitters, you were just telling me, were 1 of 15 against Edwards.
Yeah. Right-hander's written .458.
And you had a left-hander at the plate and instead go to the bullpen and bring a right-hander in. Clearly, Wes Johnson knows his ball club, and he wanted Justin Bird to pitch against Owen Pano.
Yeah, power right-hander, mid-90s. Look at that strikeout-to-walk ratio. That is outstanding. Slider to change up. He comes into a obviously big opportunity for Ole Miss, a big spot for Georgia right here.
So Owen Pano will climb back into the box with an 0-1 count. Ole Miss has Tristan Becerra at third base, an infield single. And then Will Furness at second, Topher Jones at first, both hit by pitch. Pano 2 for 3 in the game. He takes ball 1. Bird through 2/3 of an inning in game 1, 2/3 of an inning in game 2. getting the trifecta of pitching in all 3 games on the weekend. The 1-1. Drops in, strike 2. Pano behind in the count. Owen Pano, the sophomore from Poughkeepsie, New York. The 1-2. Down and in. Good take there by Pano. Bases loaded, 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, bottom of the 8th. The 2-run lead for Georgia. Pano goes down swinging at Justin Bird, fired up as he heads to the Georgia dugout.
Yeah, just another good off-speed pitch right there. Pano out front. What a great job by Bird coming in bases loaded, and you will see he is excited as he gets his Bulldogs back in the dugout.
We go to the 9th inning, Game 3 of the weekend series between Georgia and Ole Miss. The Rebels had a 2-run victory in Game 1 of a doubleheader yesterday. Georgia, a 2-run victory in the nightcap, and it's a 2-run lead for Georgia here as the Bulldogs have 8, 9, and 1 coming to the plate. Colby Branch, Ryan Black, and then Trey Phelps at the top of the order. Walker Hooks on for his 3rd inning of work, and he drops in strike 1. Colby Branch had singles in the 2nd and 4th innings, struck out swinging in the 6th. He's behind 0-2 here. Hooks got him to chase out of the zone there.
Yeah, back-to-back changeups. Again, it is a really good pitch for Hooks, particularly against right-handed hitters. Doesn't throw a lot to lefties. Right-handers just have a really hard time staying back on it.
I know we've talked about that in the past. Why?
I mean, you just see fastball. As a hitter, that is just what you see coming out of the hand. The way the ball spins typically, the motion of the pitcher, everything looks like fastball, and you swing like it's fastball, and obviously it's not getting there at 90 miles an hour.
Well, but why the disparity, righty versus lefty?
There's just a lot of guys that don't like to throw because if you miss, typically you're going to miss arm side with a changeup, and so you hit a lot of guys, or at least that is the theory.
2-2 pitch in the dirt. This entire at-bat changeups to Colby Branch?
So far, I believe that is 5 in a row.
Full count. This ball fouled off. So when a hitter has seen 6 of the same pitch, If you're going to throw it a 7th time, obviously it's got to be executed well, but
Yeah, but sometimes hitters overthink too. You're thinking, man, he ain't gonna throw it again. Get yourself. It's just the way hitters do. You're like, man, he's gonna throw a fastball sometime.
here the full count. It is a changeup once again. Once again, the full count. This time, Colby Branch lobs it out into left field. Topher Jones not going to get there. That one was off the end of the bat. Next weekend on the SEC Network, couple of featured games, series finales. Number 5, Georgia hosting Missouri next Sunday at noon Eastern. Then it's number 17, Ole Miss against number 24, Arkansas. 3 o'clock Eastern, 2 o'clock local time start in that ball game. Georgia with the leadoff man on base, and now Wes Johnson going to have a conversation with Ryan Black and talked about the fact that Georgia has only one sacrifice all season long. It happened yesterday.
Well, if you were going to consider sacrificing a second time, this would be when you would do it, trying to add on one more run here in the 9th inning.
Try to get that runner into scoring position with the top of the order coming up.
You certainly understand early in games you want to play for bigger innings, and obviously Georgia would love to put a crooked number up now, but the later in the game it gets, the more those one runs feel bigger and bigger.
It was Ishikawa in the 9-hole yesterday that had the sacrifice. We'll see what Ryan Black does. He squares to bunt, and Ole Miss throws to first. So a 3-hit day for Colby Branch after he dumped that one out into left field. And that is strike one. Auburn leading 10-2 over Oklahoma in the 7th inning, trying to win the series. Well, that Kentucky-South Carolina game is moving slowly. South Carolina ahead 5-4 in the 7th. Mississippi State now with a 4-run lead, 12-8 over LSU in the bottom of the 8th inning in Starkville. Strike two. Ryan Black didn't pull the bat back quickly enough.
Yeah, he does not look comfortable at the plate trying to bunt either one of those first two. Basically, both kind of bunted at it, then pulled back. See if Wes Johnson sticks with it with 2 strikes or takes it off and lets Black swing the bat.
Black had a double his last time up. Did not tip his hand there.
And sometimes when a guy looks as uncomfortable as Black did those first two, you feel like bunting may not be the right call.
9-hole hitter for Georgia's been on base twice today. Hit by a pitch, grounded into a double play, doubled and scored in the 7th inning. His run in the 7th made it 3-1. He pops this one up, foul territory, third base side. Owen Pano grabs it. First out of the inning.
Yeah, disappointing at bat for Black. Don't move the runner with a bunt and swinging the ball out of the zone right there and pop up. Those make for long walks back to the dugout.
So now top of the order, Trey Phelps. Hitless today, hit by a pitch in the 7th inning. Took one just above the back knee. In his last at bat, he goes after the first pitch, a changeup, and fouls it off. 0 for 3 today. Trey Phelps was the hero for Georgia last night. Hit a top of the 14th solo home run to lead off the inning. Georgia would add one more with a bases loaded walk for the 9-7 win. Hooks keeping a close eye on Colby Branch over at first base. Branch 2 steals in 2 attempts this year. This ball hit in the air out into center field. Judd Utermark going to track it down, and it hits off of his glove. He'll pick it up, throw it in. Colby Branch goes first to third. Utermark has looked fairly comfortable in center field today, but this is his first ever start in center field with the Hayden Federico injury, and he just dropped it. Hit off the heel of his glove, it looked like.
Yeah, I mean, he gets there, and it's not like he's worried about throwing. He just misses it. Series, it's been very cleanly played. That was kind of a gimme error right there.
That's the first error of the weekend by Ole Miss. And now another offensive meeting with Wes Johnson calling Daniel Jackson and the runners on base. Also Joel Mangrum talking with Walker Hooks. Entire infield comes to the mound for the meeting.
Not sure who gets charged. Well, obviously Mangrum's going to get charged. I'm not sure if Wes Johnson's timeout started first so that he loses his second offensive timeout, or if all of that falls under Mangrum's trip to the mound. Will Libbert starting to toss in the Ole Miss bullpen.
All of the umpires pulled their trusty notepads out, so they were
noting.
They have made notes. Got to tuck it away and get it just right. Thank you, Anthony Perez.
I think he heard you. Nodded in agreement. Yeah, you're welcome.
It's like he was adjusting a pocket square almost. Jackson goes after the first pitch, pops it shallow right field. Will they test the arm of Becerra? He caught it kind of awkwardly, throws toward the plate. Didn't get much on the throw at all. Two outs in the inning, but a run comes home to score. A sacrifice fly for Daniel Jackson.
Aggressive running for Branch, certainly at third, but you see Becerra, that last step is away from home plate. Obviously, you'd like to get yourself behind the ball, work through it, able to get more on the throw. When you're fading away when you catch it, really hard to get enough on the throw, and Georgia fortunate to get run number 4 right there.
Colby Branch came home to score on the play. 62nd RBI of the year for Daniel Jackson. That was the second out of the inning, so Ole Miss going to have at least a 3-run deficit that they will have to try to overcome in the bottom of the 9th inning. Rebels have not played at a run since the bottom of the first. They did that without a hit. Runner goes, got a big jump, no throw to second. That's a stolen base for Trey Phelps. His second steal of the game.
When you go first move like that, you have no, if you guess right, there's no chance for Reuter, the Ole Miss catcher.
How is it that Trey Phelps only has 2 stolen bases on the year? I guess when you're hitting in front of Daniel Jackson, you don't take many chances on the base paths.
Ole Miss going to put
Lujo on with the intentional walk.
Yeah, I looked down with surprise, too, that was only stolen base number 3 on the season. Actually, Georgia just doesn't run much.
No.
And Daniel Jackson's got half of their stolen bases,
But
literally.
they have only been thrown out 5 times all year.
When they have run, they have certainly run effectively. When you hit the ball at the ballpark the way they do, you just really don't want to run into any outs on the bases at all. They have not hit a bunch of home runs here this weekend, but certainly when you lead the SEC by roughly 30 home runs over any other team, you don't want to make any outs anywhere that don't involve a swing.
Michael O'Shaughnessy 1 for 4. Had a single back in the 3rd inning. A couple of strikeouts and a ground out otherwise. Ole Miss playing O'Shaughnessy to pull with Decker out in shallow right field, and Reuter walks that one in the dirt.
There's a look at that Ole Miss shift.
Count evens at a ball and a strike to O'Shaughnessy. Calling that a pitch clock violation, and that will be a ball, and didn't sell it enough on the second baseman getting to the bag where it was an actual pickoff attempt.
Yeah, and he'd already stepped off once, so if
Right.
he didn't throw it, it was going to be a ball, and obviously he threw it, but didn't throw it close enough to second base.
Swing and a miss. Count goes now to 2-2. Kentucky and South Carolina tied at 5 now in the top of the 8th inning. We go to the bottom of the ninth inning, and the hill for Ole Miss to climb got a little steeper in the top half of this inning. Georgia adds a couple of runs, 5 runs, 11 hits today for the Georgia Bulldogs. They are now 3 outs away from a series victory. Rebels trying to make something happen in the bottom of the ninth inning with Braden Randall leading off. He takes a strike from Justin Bird. Got a fastball there to open the at-bat. Braden Randall 1 for 2. Single back in the second inning. He walked in the 7th. Rebels got to have some base runners. Randall behind in the count. No balls and 2 strikes. Well, fastball, not sure it caught any of the plate. But Eddie Newsom thought it got enough. Ball and 2 strikes now. One, 2. Randall pops it. Foul third base side. Trey Phelps reaching out to make sure he's got room. Still runs into the wall, but makes the catch for the first out of the inning. Rebels down to their final 2 outs.
It's always one of your hardest plays in visiting ballparks because you just don't know exactly how far it is, and particularly these fields that have the turf foul territory, because it all feels the same under your feet, right? Some of it's green, some of it's that reddish warning track color, but all feels the same.
Cannon Golden going to get an opportunity to swing the bat here in the bottom of the ninth inning. Pinch hitting for Colin Reuter, who was 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. And the first pitch to Golden is in there for a strike.
Yeah, credit to Bird. Last couple of hitters knows Ole Miss is going to take till they get a strike. You throw that first pitch right down the middle if you can. That's exactly what he's done to get ahead.
And he's ahead 0-2. Caden Aoki, the starter, gave Georgia everything they could have hoped and dreamed for, given the fact that they were light out of the bullpen today. 1-2. That one misses away to the left-hander Cannon Golden. Fastball was low, and the count goes to 2-2. Georgia will host Troy on Tuesday night, and then they've got Missouri coming in. The final 3 weekends of conference play, just based on records, look promising for Georgia, with Missouri and LSU coming to Athens, and then they'll finish things out, perhaps chasing an SEC title on the road against Auburn in the final weekend of conference play. Golden goes away looking, called strike 3. 2 down in the inning, and Hayden Federico, who limped to first base after a ground out in his last at bat, will bat with 2 down here in the bottom of the ninth. Ole Miss going to meet Mississippi State in Pearl on Tuesday night, 6 o'clock first pitch for the Governor's Cup game. And the Rebels will travel to Arkansas for a 3-game series that starts at 6 o'clock on Friday night. 2 out, bases empty. Justin Bird trying to finish it off, and he misses up and away for ball 1 to Hayden Federico. So Bird got the strikeout of Pano to end the 8th inning. Ole Miss had the bases loaded with 2 outs. Couldn't get that 2-out base hit. And he gets a pop out and a strikeout for the first 2 outs in the 9th. There's a fastball strike. I think this is the last game that you and I are scheduled to work together this year. It has been a blast, as always.
I appreciate that. So I don't have you for the A&M weekend? Not coming that weekend?
I didn't make the cut. That one in there for strike 2.
It's always great to work with a true pro, and he had 23 innings yesterday. And then had to go 9 more today.
Very kind of you to say. The 2-2. Strike 3 called. That one got the outside corner. Justin Bird gets 3 strikeouts out of the 4 hitters that he faces. Georgia, for the first time in 15 years, wins a series here in Oxford. They pick up their 4th SEC Road Series win of the year. 2 of their final 3 weekends will be in their home ballpark. This Georgia team, impressive.
Hard-fought weekend series for Georgia, no question. Able to come in. Ole Miss was playing well. Georgia gets 2 out of 3. Congrats to the Bulldogs. Good weekend.
Ole Miss will now hit the road for the next week, taking on Mississippi State and then Arkansas next weekend. Thanks for being with us on this Sunday afternoon where Georgia takes 2 of 3 from Ole Miss. For Keith Kessinger and our entire SEC Network crew, I'm Richard Cross. Have a great rest of the weekend. Georgia wins it today, 5-1.